This is Boadu TV. Truth and integrity.
I was very more about Boadu TV soon. Na someone subscribe ya CCI so no subscribe na like video ja comment comment section mu. Na straight for your mo Kevin Taylor kache. Kevin Taylor na wafire no watches CCI de peace council useless. Ni nyina ne say statement ahodo bia Ghana mampanyin emeki say ono anya de a wode power be hye obi a wo defeat ni nsem da te say Mahama anya de power be hye ni nsem no. So worry na wo say peace council kasa ho na Ghana mampanyin ba bonten be pachewa na obeka se o enye se o mini se bia Mahama wini krom fa power ma no but omote wodin no mohwe e na Ghana mampanyin kaka sansem nyina na wogidi se NDC wini kra nya DMPP beda ne tum da man no so e de violence be bo mem na ECOWAS nso aye ehwehwem kakra omoche se afia bato no se basa e besi mo no very high it will be anya ahweye. Now Kevin Taylor said tis mu ewo ensefofo mu wo hwe policies ahodo a omampanyin abede kire Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia chese about beba say importing no made fi China no ye bitwa so ne yedi ne yedua ne ahye Ghana eye. Now wasan so chese say uko prisoners no e dey yema mo 180 pesos or so betum dia ko 6 days na say prison for be pa anamu so sem Kevin Taylor afire e dey afọ ho ne kwanya MPP pese o fa so ewia ban mu na ekomafa ye ko tie Kevin Taylor
no on the GBC boss and our director na all kind of story say oko srim na oko masalachi GBC boss yes wakodi ske ya and the on sports minister amakoye points atija no me 24 in Rebecca Chen said the people you are trying to stop me from telling Ghanaians the truth, the same people will turn around and disgrace you. And the NPP government, they are telling Ghana for that the GBC boss is a criminal, he's a thief. Now, do you know the GBC boss? I'm asking him a simple question. Only the sports ministry and some people in the Jubilee House, did they have a meeting behind the scenes about how the money and Sikana Omodebabe All African Games, some will come to him under the table? It's a simple question. This man was so vibrant. He didn't understand why I was on TV. Okushia Imam bi osrem and Imam ne kache say me ko Kevin Taylor. Okache Imam so oko Kevin Taylor wen and also Kevin Taylor on me TV so. O see e wa na ko fie. Na before that ko no Kevin Taylor e won phone so. Oko fie no ko so on TV no scan no hu say Kevin Taylor ba TV so. De oye ne say ofre penyini bi Ghana say e kwan be so ne betumi afa a stop Kevin Taylor from streaming in Ghana on TV. Papa penyini we on na GBC Eshanensa. Papa we the GBC so and yes akobo krono. Yes, a mere sports minister is telling him to come and kneel on national television and beg him. And I told this man a few months ago, say, these people that you are conniving with to stop me from telling Ghanaians the truth. One share answer na on exit GBC no na enimguasio mugu no. You even forget to say we in Kremoni. And you see today you will leave or you exit GBC with this albatross hanging around your neck. Say, once upon a time, you took money, you connived with the sports minister who is a criminal to steal from Ghanaians. But the question is it true? The question is, did you take all the money? The question is, the sports ministry, did they have some side meetings with you? You are adults. They be a mekachiremo. It does not make you people say sometimes people need to listen. You were proud. You were very proud to stand on national television to tell Samson Ayenini and the rest that you wanted to stop Kevin Taylor. And what has Kevin Taylor done? All that Kevin Taylor has done is that Kevin Taylor is telling Ghanaians to say, whoa, people like you and the people like the sports minister, people like you guys, you criminals, you are the ones they need to be careful of. That is why we are here. And I don't come here. Let me tell you, when I have my editorial meetings with my team, we don't sit and say we are going to denigrate anybody, we are going to use strong words against anyone. It is you people, your utterances, your actions and inactions, the things you do, the deliberate misinformation and disinformation. You people know the people are gullible. You people know the people, majority of them are not educated. So you hide behind some foolish Vietnam suits and ignorant language, be among I'm a friend brofo, and then you use those things to lie to them. How can a whole national television director stand on TV to say, I want to stop somebody from broadcasting to Ghana? Abra, you cannot give me one evidence of misinformation from my network. GBC sitting there. The foolishness you people have been exhibiting on GBC. Even when we are playing soccer in Ghana, you cannot stream it for Ghanaians to watch. You are being paid by the taxpayer. You people are running GBC like your father's properties. Go on social media. See how foolishly you are using the GBC platform. Today, as we sit, J.A. Kufuor's his criminality and corruption, you have decided to wipe all of that off the system. You don't want Ghanaians to know. Archival photos, videos, things that we need to know to shaping our decision when it comes to choosing intelligent, honest leaders to lead us. Foolish men like you think that position you are in, nobody can touch you. Today, everybody has come to know the kind of things you do. Are you going to come out and kneel in public to beg the dirty criminal sports minister? It is at the end of the day, we, the same people, Kevin Taylor, I have to sit here and let Ghanaians know whether you committed a crime or not. So who is saving who? I am saving your dirty ass. People like us are supposed to sit here and then explain things and let Ghanaians know the details. Who is being what? Who is being lied? Who is being lied to? Who is being, at the end of the day, sabotaged? How some people are trying to lie to the Ghanaian people not to know who actually spent the money. It is at the end of the day the same Kevin Taylor. I have to come sit here, break down documents for Ghanaians to understand whether you are somebody or a criminal and say, oh, you're criminal. So the Kevin Taylor you were chasing, today I am the one to save your dirty ass. You people are filthy, disgusting. You people are very selfish old men. And when we sit here and tell you people you are foolish, don't debate it. Don't be angry. You need to sit back and look within yourselves and ask yourselves, say, have we committed a crime? Have we done something that is making these young people use these kind of words against us? Are we being the adults they always want us to be? That is all that we are asking of you. When an old man who looks like a tortoise goes to dig a hole that costs the taxpayer over $500 million, and you foolishly sit there and say, I should not tell that old man who looks like Okpo, who looks like a tortoise, that he's foolish, and that the taxpayer does not have a health clinic. The taxpayer needs health. He needs to go to a better hospital which is equipped. The taxpayer na ono tua tax na yerenyam na ope baby awono. That taxpayer needs that best of their health, quality health care. Nakwasi ampenyiwe in the name of religion akosi tokru se obisi cathedral. We sit here and tell you the man is foolish. We tell you majority of the adults leading you are foolish. Munya opportunity now they want to exhibit your foolishness for people to know you have big balls. Kevin Taylor Nana and the Obehe say we are Kromfo and I say onya Kromfo GBC boss. Say Ghana for be say onya Kromfo, it is me. Me na memo Ghana for. And the Ghana for nyina say we are Kromfo because some of the media they have decided to make it look like we a problem, no? You see, Obi of Asempa, you see the NPP media, they are shifting everything and putting on you. Why do you think they are doing that? Because belonging to me and belonging to us are two different things. We are 10 you. We are 10. Sa pathway a Santefo party. And they don't care to throw you under the bus like a sheep. On say Montafo Munina Omo Yuzumo, the sports minister who has been fooling Ocean and Noah, they be an set to cap or to a Jimmy. And omo penetrating no and omo using the Ojain. Today, unya teni and a Montafo Munu. And a achim for no eti Jubilee House no more coffee. And a mwe Jimmy for me nunko for dimatem. I keep telling you people, reason up. On send the bedru no. Enta for me and the dimatem. Enta for me and some ya crom for. Omo omoji sikano for the All African Games. Come to Jubilee House. Achim for omo suit, Vietnam suit. Omo kamone ato so no mudi jantra for. And you people are taking the shame. And this is going to follow you people to the rest of your lives. And I make us say you, the GBC boss, people like us, my colleagues on my TV, and other intelligent, rational, people who speak on social, political issues, Say Omamba ambe chire mu anchire Ghana for you would die as a criminal. The same person you are trying to shut me down, I'm the same person who is supposed to come here and clean you up. And with me, if you are guilty, I'll let the people know you are guilty. If you are not, I'll let the people know, because it is not about who or which party. It's about making sure the information, the credibility, the truth stays the same. Now, let's take care of something. Now, the NPP government, they've lost the elections. They know. Now, they have a plan. And the plan now is that any media house, any journalist who is speaking truth, who is exposing the corruption, the tension this government basically through the president saying, he will not hand over. He will hand over to his own party. Through any journalist who try to speak against it and expose this daft government, they have an agenda. Journalists for so those specific journalists, that is the strategy now. They want to censor, they want to silence the voices that are uniquely trying to let you people know the truth. Some are print and some are basically what you see on TV. You need to understand the NPP government, they want to take charge. They want to destroy you people. Now there's something happening, something developing now. We all need to pay very good attention to. Now, it's so bad. It hurts that an institution like ECOWAS has now been lowered to the level whereby people in politics are now manipulating ECOWAS like some child institution. ECOWAS is an international body that is recognized around the world. ECOWAS is supposed to, at the end of the day, show resolute, show integrity. ECOWAS is supposed to be showing the hallmark when it comes to uniqueness in their deliberations and in their work. Because majority of the conflict around the West African countries, ECOWAS, that is supposed to be the unique arbiter. They are supposed to be seen as the just arbiters who come in. But ECOWAS now has been reduced to a veranda boy, political, side chick, side man, institution. And now, the NPP government and some individuals in Ghana who basically have been paid by this government to sabotage some media houses. They want to use some people who are parading in Ghana on our radios and TVs. They say they are basically fighting for media freedom. They are fighting for justice. Those people are not fighting for justice. Those people are being used by politicians through ECOWAS to try and tame, try and mute, try and silence voices that are exposing corruption and criminality in Ghana. And a typical example is this gentleman called Suleiman Brahima. This guy is the head of Media Foundation West Africa, right? Now, this Media Foundation guy, his name is Suleiman Brahima. He's one of the people who will make you think, Obama will say, oh yeah, Juma Ghana. But behind the scenes, these are the people suppressing free speech. They are suppressing free journalism. They are the people suppressing the right to information. These are the people, and that is what they do. That is how they make their money. People like Kofi Bento, people like the Franklin Kujos, and those people saying they have CSOs. They have not built anything. All that they do is they hide behind some NGOs that they craft. They design for you to think that what they know, the things they know, nobody knows about it. This guy and the likes to say, Azuri Mono, they have made themselves to say they are the hallmark when it comes to journalism in Ghana. They, in fact, mark journalism. But when it comes to misinformation and disinformation, people like these, politicians use you. People like these, some of the African leaders destroy some African countries. Now, I'm going to tell you about a story. It is a story that was actually planned from the Jubilee House. They didn't catch you. Jubilee House for say any media house, any journalist in Ghana who today is speaking against the ills in the society, the corruption of this government, they are going to find a way indirectly to jail those people, to to silence them so that they can keep doing what they are doing. And people that they have decided to use are people like Suleiman Brahima. Recently, near Tiano North, the air list to be better abontine. Who? This guy. A catcher Ghana for say, oh, unim. Bobia Ansa, and some NDC stations be, did attempt power Ghana. For about 4 years, they be a Bobia Ansa at that first. But we know journalists in Ghana. We know media houses in Ghana. They use derogatory words. But this guy, because the idea is he needs to do something to be noticed. The same thing Azuri did in 2014, 15, 16. That is how they are able to pay their rent. That is how they are able to take care of their kids. That's how they are able to live their life. They hide behind what we call semi-disinformation. When you're a very critical thinker, when you're a critical thinker, you will not know that they are the ones guiding politicians and political parties. They are the ones guiding tyrants to basically silence journalists. This guy. Now, my mentor assembly is AC, and it's important we talk about this. And the show is packed. We are going to end exactly 7:50. That's why I'm running through. Today, Kamala Harris is speaking at the DNC. My wife is on the desk for New York Times. She's very busy. I need to do this quickly and get home. It's important. The show is going to end exactly 11:50 Ghana time, 11 p.m., 11:50 p.m. It will end here 7:50. So we're going to be running through a lot of things today. Now, our first story here. And this guy, they have done something. And this was orchestrated. This was planned. This is a Jubilee House agenda. Some journalists are going to be silenced. They are going to find ways to silence some media houses. In fact, they are planning on jailing some journalists. I'm going to say they see them say they are reporting and everything goes against the government. Now we were here, and now this guy, Suleiman Brahima, this is what he posted. Oposti this on the Media Foundation for West Africa. Oposti we also. And I did oposti and idea. I'll say, dear colleagues, and so he's sending the message to all the people on the Media Foundation West Africa. Now you ask, and that's what Bebusa say, something called Media Foundation West Africa or blah blah, whatever name they want to call it. At least before they put anything out there for journalists to pick, it should be something that has been verified. It should be something that has been what? Fact checked. It should be something that basically is credible, that cannot be contested. It's very important, especially when you call yourself, say you are the pace setter. You guys are journalism no Ghana without people misinforming, disinforming, and polluting the system. This is what this man went to post or say. Dear colleagues, I hope this email finds you well. Yesterday, August 21st, 2024, ECOWAS issued a statement to debunk a news report carried by the Herald newspaper suggesting that the regional body has predicted war in Ghana ahead of the December 7 elections. Attached is the statement. Kindly assist in republishing it. Best regards, MFWA, Media Foundation for West Africa. How do they call it? Get me the full name. Me, these things, I don't spend my time on them. This man went to post something and all catch journalists for no so-called platforms and say, ECOWAS, Andrew 21st August, ECOWAS are publishing a day and as a issue statement to be the Herald newspaper. Almost say issue now, a statement na ECOWAS issue no. Ninyina say almost the Herald newspaper akoka assembly to ECOWAS so. Na assembly akoka to ECOWAS no say ECOWAS ba Ghana ebeye sebio edwumebi ebehwe ya bato na ye beto no nsunsanso eye bambo ene sene Ghana a prepare no ho. Na Media Foundation say eye ECOWAS for the nkrata ababonten say report na the Herald newspaper editor abonten na omuka say say Herald say and a Herald newspaper say eye den eye ECOWAS for say omoba Ghana no de omobehu ye no eye den a December election no in Tokwabesi. Now the question you ask is say, has this guy or the MFWA, did they verify from the other source? Because if ECOWAS Aba Bontene Abe put it out as a Herald newspaper edit in a story be about bontene na story no Herald boa. What do you do before you put this out there, making it look like Herald lied? What you do first is you contact Herald. That is journalism. This is the same idiot who is sitting in Ghana and saying, say, where you are there, where a best journalist, where a bad journalist. He knows nothing. He's a political dimwit. They put him in there, and then all that he does is he goes after the politician friends, the people they don't like. That is what they do. What stopped MFWA from contacting Herald newspaper to ask them, say, do you have proof? Do you have anything supporting the report you made? They say, ECOWAS say, Omo ankasa. Now also says also ankasa. Then the said you kind and no. That's all. And the question you ask yourself, say, this media foundation, did they even read the Herald newspaper publication? Was the publication a direct editorial from the editor, or it was a report? Was it by quote? Was Herald newspaper quoting people, or the Herald newspaper basically said they did their investigations and this is what they came at? It's very important. There are two things here. You can do an editorial that is coming from you after your own investigations, journalism, sanity, that you own it. You tell people, I have done my investigations. This is what I concluded. This is what I found. It will be to the Atuabontine or the Tuabontine. I know what you say. One we call a story, no. And there's another story whereby Ube to me I could pick a story. Now I can say story we may publish it. Now in something you know, and ya me man no asem into your friend be or the share quotes him. Send your bet say and ya wona woka. Na mum baby I'll pick a story the free no. It be an event now call no. Obi no asem and I said they see no and I will air the air Ghana for so when they see. So there are two things. So the MFWA they had to at least say they were supposed to reach out to Herald and say, Herald, you put a paper out that ECOWAS say in the basic of Ghana. ECOWAS they rejoinder but say no credit. Do you have anything to prove your credibility? Say what you said, it is actually true. They don't do that. What they do is they push the lies. They push the ECOWAS agenda because the idea in Ghana say almost turning around to say the Herald newspaper misinformed and disinformed and said something against ECOWAS, so they should shut them down or they should do what? Jail the Herald newspaper, whoever is in charge. And tonight, let me prove something to you. When you hear that Suleiman Brahma speak, forget him. He's like a Azuri. He's a political mad dog. He just wants money to go eat. This is what they have been doing for years to destroy lives. Now, Yanko story na Herald here, no. Now Yansha say story na Herald here, no. Did Herald actually lie? Did Herald say on one word and I say Herald actually used the words of ECOWAS? And we want to ask ECOWAS. ECOWAS is a big institution, international institution. They have lowered the standards of ECOWAS, and then when it comes to the sub-Saharan region, in Tokwankwa, ECOWAS cannot do anything. They are no man can about Burkina Faso, the action they will take. Did they take action? They can't because ECOWAS is a toothless bulldog. They don't have anything. Now, let's continue. Now, show the lies from MFWA. Suleiman Brahma and then call for the agenda to make sure some journalists in Ghana, anything and say about how to say, on what share them, acquire analysis, Bobby Ansa and a Ghana radio. So, Odidiatem with Jimmy, he has personal issues with Bobby Ansa. He has personal issues with journalists who are speaking truth and exposing this government. So, now, dear Nina say, or Peso, ya kata, and I say, you block your Munana or Boama MPP in Kwasi Adenekoso. They are the people supporting a criminality in Ghana. Now, let's get into the issues. Now, this is the story. This is the story Herald newspaper published. Now, Mummy read this story. The Herald Kai. Was it a direct story from Herald? And as a Herald was reporting what they have seen or what they heard. There are two things here. Me didn't catch it. While bit me, I say. My story over here, yes, scandals. We own the scandals. Yeah. Just say scandal. We any investigation here, diaba. Any what story I reporting. Send me the paper to her. Now me read the paper. I am reporting what is in the paper. I am not the owner. I am not the primary source of the story. I am picking the story to break to you. See, I'll be reporting what is in the story. Yeah, you say, Herald, did they own the story or they reported the story? Say na Herald Troy. Let's take our time and listen. Make sure the person from now, they want to jail some journalists. They want to find ways by force. Nobody has some show mukon. Now, ECOWAS mission predict violence at Ghana's 2024 polls. This was the caption Herald newspaper. Edman report no. Or say ECOWAS mission predict violence at Ghana's 2024 polls. Or say ECOWAS mission no mobile investigation no. They predicted. Herald did not say ECOWAS said there was going to be war in Ghana. There's a difference between you saying predicting and you making an emphatic statement. So from the caption alone, Herald newspaper did not emphatically say ECOWAS say war besi Ghana. Herald newspaper the caption say ECOWAS mission predicts. That means there's a possibility that there's going to be chaos, and there's a possibility we are going to have a free and fair election without any violence. So the caption alone should tell you Media Foundation and the rejoinder from ECOWAS is wrong. It's an agenda. The caption alone to the story is simply a caption extra say a prediction. One kase ECOWAS say into Kwabesi or Ghana December 7. Here are the say ECOWAS ebeye obejuma no predict here. There are some reasons in here ECOWAS predicted. And let's see. Yentie ana yen read a Herald newspaper. The exact statement he used, and I said report yen share exact statement put out and some report. When you read the Herald newspaper, this is what the report says. The Economic Community of West Africa States, ECOWAS, deployed to Ghana for a pre-election fact-finding mission to assess the country's state of preparedness ahead of the general elections scheduled for December 7, 2024, has predicted violent polls as a result of a very tense political environment in Ghana. Herald first paragraph or see ECOWAS for a year omusomombra Ghana embeye investigations embeye pensemu enhwe se aba ye koto no saa aba no sebio ebeye jojo so anase entokobesi na Herald de kasa no see ECOWAS nipa omoba Ghana ebeye saa nhwehwemu no de ebesi ele se omohu se nyoma bebre bi ntwaye nti omoka se ya nhwe ni year predicting predictia they are any factual. Predictia it means there are some things you have seen. There are some findings you have come to that conclusion. Say, if these things are not taken care of, this might happen. This might happen is not a fact. Inti Herald report no, Ghana for say obi o trust story no and I say already story be say this is what ECOWAS predicted. ECOWAS did not say war besi Ghana. Now, when you go to the story deep, the ECOWAS mission blamed the tension and potential violence on the mistrust of some state institutions, including the Electoral Commission, the judiciary, the security agencies, particularly the police service, after a meeting with their leaders and management last month. Story is say ECOWAS for by the judiciary, court judges, no, omushia EC, omushia police, omushia military, essential impenifua, omuda Ghana, sebio kebimemi kebiano no. Omushia omunyo, omututu wamano, omuhu se, GDA Ghana for wamasa institutions no akofom. This is what Herald said. Osieko was for by no, omushia institutions no, omushia police station omunyano, omu find this libe who say. Institutions in Ghana ni Ghana for Kasa who say Ghana for ni confidence these institutions. It could be one of the reasons they predicted that the elections might be chaotic. And on say when these things are not resolved, the elections will not be peaceful. So for the 2 pages I've read to you, Herald newspaper has not emphatically said ECOWAS by they emphatically said there will be war in December and also during the elections. Let's set the record straight. This is cooked from the Jubilee House. They want to find ways to jail some newspapers or journalists who are speaking truth, reporting truth. They want to mute the voices that are exposing corruption in the system. And they are using somebody like Suleiman Brahma and the MFWA. Those are the people they are using. Now, we already hear our story now. Now you see, it is also said that, and they brought a quote. So we read this story. Na so who quota. It means enye newspaper na eka eye de omo kan wo meeting nase. Inti so we read this story now. Larry and I say Herald newspaper for story no. It is also said, and I quote, and I say Odisha quote him, and you no Larry no, and I say Herald newspaper editor, and I say Omo Mohon ano asem. Omo chira will say, Omo shia mpenifuo no, de a free omano abaye and in some omo kai de binye. So nowhere should even ECOWAS write a rejoinder to say the Herald newspaper is saying they are saying war basi. ECOWAS is being disingenuous. ECOWAS credibility, they should stop these kind of shitty things, making some politicians manipulate them to do dirty things. Now let's read a story. It is also said, and I quote, and Herald newspaper quotes, misinformation, disinformation, and the use of insightful languages that have potential to trigger violence were flagged as a major security threat. Some leading political figures and candidates were identified as perpetrators of insightful language. In this regard, the mission believes that the media, including social media platforms, constitute a serious threat to a peaceful electoral process as they serve as the channels for dissemination. End of quote. Until the Herald newspaper, they were quoting na omo kandie ECOWAS for buy no si nyoma bebre na sebio Ghana for ya ma yeni anko ho a ebema 2024 election December de no e de de intokwa beba ebi ni se eye sen gen politicians bi ha nsem bi omo ka no e ma tension ba system nim ebi since say journalists bi ene sebio nipa bi omo social media no nsem bi omo ka no ano edin e wo se epekwan bi ne so ano omo se e de eye nipa bi ewo Ghana eye nsem a efroma no aba omudi political parties enimu no nsem ni bia no edin a omo ye omo hwehwe mu no omo hu se Ghana nso sa nyoma na no a ebetumi yeka se predicting ebetumi de edin wentwi aba. Into the Herald newspaper did a professional job by quoting ECOWAS. The Herald newspaper from day one, from what I've started reading, they have not owned anything. They basically are telling you ECOWAS for back Ghana, no, this is what happened or transpired. Now, so read the paper, look at still in quotes, the political environment in Ghana remains tense as a result of mistrust of some of the institutions that play key roles in the conduct of elections, including the EC, the judiciary, and the security agencies, particularly the police service. End of quote. Said a draft statement which is in circulation on various social media platforms. So, Herald Echo TV say the quote he and I said the newspaper is quoting, it is based on a document that is already in circulation, a document that is in circulation on social media and also around, that is stating say there was a draft document ECOWAS wie no omo den e release ye sad draft document no and all basic the story was so into all the quotes he was referring to the draft document. Herald newspaper was not saying yeneaka, almost say there's a draft document that is already in the system. Nipe bi ensaka almost are intercepted, and what the draft document ECOWAS for by no findings no a woman and onu etu summarize e di akire Ghana for. So in this, how can Media Foundation to West Africa dear Suleiman Brahma go ahead to say ECOWAS say responded to Herald newspaper because Herald say ECOWAS say war basi. Where? Because Sir Suleiman Brahma we Jimmy Kurano, he was supposed to pick the Herald newspaper, read the story and see where the loopholes are. The story basically did not say, Herald did not emphatically say this is an editorial. They said this is a report. They are quoting what is in circulation, which is the draft. It is in conjunction with what they have seen. Sorry, it is in relation to what they have seen. Into how can the people who say they are the gatekeepers of journalism in Ghana did not know this fundamental ethics? How come say Suleiman Brahma these simple journalistic ethics? How come he did not know that he could go put such a thing on platforms to say people should share? It means there's an agenda. It means people like that, they are supposed to be looked at with different eyes. They are dangerous. Now Yanko say document na the Herald newspaper, a base also that paper in circulation, that draft now, ECOWAS, no, that draft no in circulation. What is actually in that draft? Remember, ECOWAS, release the rejoinder, no, they did not deny, and I'm going to read the ECOWAS rejoinder for you to hear. They did not deny, said the draft in the system isn't theirs. If ECOWAS had denied the draft, then it means the Herald needs to go bring a document to prove his case. But ECOWAS that was bringing out a rejoinder, they did not deny, said the draft in the system was the same draft that Herald was quoting from. Now let's go to the ECOWAS rejoinder. Let's see the ECOWAS kind of omo rejoinder. Omo say omo den extra letter abe condemn Herald newspaper. This is the rejoinder from ECOWAS. Now, when you read the rejoinder from ECOWAS, this is what it says. There's a reason why Amenya Abutra me person me yes story, because you see, the misinformation is coming from the people, or disinformation is coming from the people who tell you, say, they are the gatekeepers. Journalism, you're dangerous. Sir, Suleiman Brahma ne Azuri mono ye dangerous. You saw how they used Azuri in 2016. Or say I confirm it to DN. Kwasi ampe is an lines say ayoa and in Ghana. Say investigative book no true. Say a love story no true. Say a report on an Ghana ke kan kwasi asem. This is the same thing these people are trying to do. Now this is the rejoinder from ECOWAS. Now when you read the rejoinder, it will tell you something. ECOWAS for rejoinder ni. Now idea be very important. So rejoinder now. Let me enlarge the rejoinder for you to see something. This is ECOWAS. This is not a MPP. Because okay, we MPP party Jimmy every day when they put a presser out, they fool around. Now when we date in a shasi, ECOWAS of all institutions. Thank you, team. ECOWAS of all institutions. They wrote a rejoinder. And down there, they wrote 21st August 2023. When was your? You see the date there? The rejoinder, Oko top wa, almost a rejoinder no, this year. But when you go down there, the ECOWAS, Nankas almost say an international institution, no, they released a rejoinder, and the date under the rejoinder is 21st August 2023. So this paper now I'm releasing, and it shows say ECOWAS they are not organized. They don't even know what they are doing. The rejoinder is from ECOWAS. They can't even get their date right, but they want to tell people that they are a credible institution. So first of all, any reasonable Ghanaian will even throw away any reasonable journalist. Say MFWA if they are intelligent. Some of your people who are doing diligent work, if they say they know the ethics, they are looking for every single thing, dotting their I's and crossing their T's, they will throw this paper away and tell ECOWAS that they need to come back with a document that is current. A whole ECOWAS brings out the document and the date is wrong. We are not even supposed to be reading their rejoinder because ECOWAS is foolish. Now, let's read the rejoinder, and then they're very important. So one, this rejoinder is a toilet paper because the date on it does not reflect the matter we are talking about now. But because of some reason, we need to read the rejoinder to let you know how useless ECOWAS is. ECOWAS is as useless as Peace Council. The same way, Makachiramo. There are too many foolish people in Ghana, criminals in Ghana, especially Cheddar. Cheddar is a criminal. If he's a man, he should mount stage and say he has never spoken to me on phone. Cheddar or a criminal. If he's a man, he should mount any platform and say, I've never spoken to that Kevin Taylor guy before. He should mount a stage, a platform. He should go on Instagram, TikTok and say, that Kevin Taylor guy, I've not even spoken to him before. Message Cheddar, he's a criminal, a thief. Let's move forward. Now, ECOWAS for us, this is the rejoinder. Ghana say MFW for the Emfama Herald. Now Ghana for a Herald, they can't throw. They are lying. ECOWAS is an institution without any credibility. Now, rejoinder: ECOWAS mission has not predicted violence at Ghana's 2024 polls. ECOWAS mission has not predicted violence at 2024 polls. So let's go back a little bit. I have to show you something. When you go back a little bit to the Media Foundation guy in the post now, what did he write or say? Hwe on wa de no tire no. Ono etro ediaman kofo so monko kan ECOWAS for rejoinder no. Look at the words he used. Or say the ECOWAS issues a statement to debunk a news report carried by the Herald newspaper suggesting that the regional body has predicted war. Predicted war. See, so Suleiman Brahman, the way he chose his words, ECOWAS said they have not predicted violence, but Suleiman Brahman has chosen ECOWAS has not predicted war. These two words, this word that guy is using, are deliberate. There's a reason why ECOWAS use violence. And ask Brahman Suleiman, say, why did he decide to choose the word war? Because he wanted the sensationalism. He wanted people to say Herald newspaper is a bad newspaper. The report is a bad report from Herald. So deliberately, they use words, and you have to be careful when it comes to these kind of things. They use words. ECOWAS is economic. ECOWAS Commission. ECOWAS. When Brian Etro Adiano to share with his colleagues, the OUC and say ECOWAS, the regional body has predicted war, but ECOWAS rejoinder they said they have not predicted the violence. Into ECOWAS for caption here, ECOWAS mission has not predicted violence at Ghana's 2024 polls. So Busa would say, Sir Suleiman Brian one a disinforming Ghanaians, one a misinforming Ghanaians channel. He has no credibility. He has no moral right to even bring a list out to say, oh no, and just say we and Jumaye. On the credibility, Ben. All. Now, let's read the rejoinder. The attention of the Commission of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, has been drawn to a sensational article by the Herald tabloid of 21st August 2024 purported to capture a draft statement, meaning they don't want to admit to the draft document. They need to bring the draft document, but see what they would do. Because they know that the draft document Herald newspaper was referring to that is already on social media. People have leaked it, because they didn't want to say they actually wrote the draft. They didn't want to own it. They are putting it in quote. Because they don't want you to believe they want to shy away from the report. That draft was system. So they did what? They put the draft statement in their inverted commas. And then what they did was that on the findings of the recent pre-election fact-finding mission to Ghana under the crudely misleading banner ECOWAS mission predicts violence at Ghana's 2024 polls. The commission categorically denounces the tabloid dishonest reportage. Almost to say the Herald newspaper I reported story bia almost say almost ECOWAS for na Ghana be some fact findings be and almost conclusion e kire say almost say in Tokobesi wa Ghana elections ya be na sa draft na Herald newspaper kano almost de nim draft no. All right, let's move forward. To educate the Herald, ECOWAS pre-election mission, and this is what they say, do not issue statements on their findings. Besides, reports of such say to educate the Herald, ECOWAS pre-electoral mission or missions do not issue statements on their findings. Schooly Herald newspaper say ECOWAS mission release fact findings. Some be investigations, research they don't release the report. Into one, they are trying to disassociate themselves from the draft document now. Here I would say elikina the comma president, they want to say because they don't release, whatever is in the system, it is not connected to them. But the funny thing, they have not been able to also tell us what they found. And instead they are quick to say do not issue statement because they don't want to come out and clearly say the draft belongs to them. They are trying to disassociate themselves from the draft, which belongs to them. Now, ECOWAS for say, besides reports of such missions are besides reports of such missions are confidential and meant only for the eyes of the president of the commission to aid the engagement with other authorities in member states. Almost say so investigations near the idea ewo ekuro a ebi te say Ghana mu a omo findings no ana what they come up with no and say what they find no they don't make it public. They only give it to the mission president nipa na odi mission nanim no ono nko na wo access to that information. Until nobody knows the findings of Edian, a Jubilee or any African countries. Into the Omobe or Ghana, no, some findings, no, it is only the president of ECOWAS and Kwana. Nobody in Ghana has it. Nobody at ECOWAS. It is only the president of ECOWAS. Meaning, if there's a draft document which is out, then it means the president of ECOWAS leaked it. They need to investigate the president of ECOWAS. Now, so this is what ECOWAS writes, or this is what they say. In this instance, the preliminary report is still undergoing quality control. Or see, eba Ghana dear we dia report no omo findings no. It is still going under it is going under quality control. Like I say, report no ho nanso omo check 1212 be, meaning they are trying to let us know say omo we report no. It is a draft about Bontina, because when they say draft, you can say drafter document where drafter and yet the final document. It means majority of the things are the final document 99.5% it was a document. It's ECOWAS for say can say investigations any service any interviews any meetings on reports it is going through what they call quality control a chain Food and Drugs Authority. Afei na omode quality control akɔhwɛ sɛ ɛyɛ report no findings no legitimate and say legitimate omo reasons omo banie. But draft no nipa na type here. Draft no secretaries aides people and gather report no. Draft no nipa that sitting and they putting it together. So you cannot tell me say the draft cannot leak. If even the draft is not complete, it means there's a draft. And if there's a draft, then the possibility of somebody leaking the draft is high. Until here I'd refer to a drafter. It means there is a drafter about Bontene. Now, when you move forward, this is what ECOWAS says. In this instance, the preliminary report is still undergoing quality control. At no time before, during, and after the fact-finding mission has ECOWAS predicted violence. Almost say in this instance, almost say at no time before, during, and after the fact-finding mission has ECOWAS predicted violence in the electoral process. Almost say investigations leaders of Ghana, any institution leaders at no point predicted say there will be violence. If even there is a draft to cry, there was no point predicted say can be say because of this and this and this there might be violence. Can be that. Okay. Now, the commission therefore finds it preposterous. The commission therefore finds it preposterous that the Herald would disingenuously repeat the standard operating procedures of ECOWAS fact-finding mission, twist issues that are in the public domain in Ghana, and try to push its partisan conclusion into the mouth of ECOWAS. Say ade omuni moshi and a Herald newspaper afa and now what done no and a sebio what short story no emane favor on Herald the party or no support send a bear obey to me Ghana for throw edia to ECOWAS. So suddenly ECOWAS knows say the Herald newspaper is working for a political party. Interesting. A body like ECOWAS today is able to point out a newspaper and say you work for a news, you work your reportage is for a particular political party, and that your report it's being twisted. You are twisting your report. ECOWAS. Now you move forward, and this is what it says. The ECOWAS Commission rightly holds Ghana in high esteem as a model of nurturing or maturing democracy and tolerance on the continent, and often cites the country for emulation in the region. The Commission therefore condemns any attempt by sections of the media to misuse the name of ECOWAS in their vain attempt to sow discord among the 32 million peace-loving people of Ghana through manipulation, partisan positions, and veiled incitement to intolerance and violence. Blah, 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 blah. So, this is ECOWAS for rejoinder. Omodeba abontene. And the ECOWAS can you say, Omodie, Omono, Omon predictive violence biya. Na Omono, Herald newspaper, Etro, Oyu omo oka asem abesho mu ano omo ka say omo predicted, or they predicted say there might be violence, say omo findings no ye no say Ghana for answer findings ni ye ampe solutions to the findings. Now let's look at the draft now. Herald newspaper based on to write their report. Remember, Herald newspaper never made any emphatic statement. Every single thing that they wrote, they based it on the draft now, which was circulating on social media, which was circulating on some media outlets. Because remember, I mentioned right there, it wasn't only the Herald newspaper and the publisher here. Business Day also, bad governance, insecurity behind tensions in ECOWAS region. There's a newspaper called Business Day. They also published it. So it means to say, it wasn't only Herald newspaper that had the draft. There were some media outlets that had the draft. Why is it say ECOWAS is only reporting or responding to the Herald? Ask yourself. Why is it say Suleiman Brahma is the one helping ECOWAS to put a rejoinder out? There are other newspapers that reported the same story, and these are some of their captions: bad governance, insecurity behind tensions in ECOWAS regions. This is from the Business Day. They reported on the same story Herald reported. Why have they only chosen Herald newspaper to basically respond to? It means then what Herald newspaper said is true. Now let's read the draft and let Ghanaians know what draft now Herald newspaper based their report on. Now when you read the draft, this is what it says, and this is a draft from ECOWAS. I'm finding somewhere, this is the draft. So you see this document already in the system, and this is the draft document that ECOWAS put together after the commission came to Ghana to meet all the very important people, security heads, EC, the president, some men, everybody. Now, ECOWAS has not come out to say they did not write this draft. Till date, they haven't said anything about it. Almost say, boss, what draft, but the draft is out. I don't think the draft, somebody had to type it. Somebody had to put the report together. Somebody had to do the research. If the draft is out, it means it says somebody leaked the draft. Now, ECOWAS pre-election fact-finding mission to Ghana in support of inclusive and peaceful general elections. Accra, 21st to the 29th of July 2024. Draft mission report. Now, in the draft, what did they say? This is what is in the draft. The draft now, the Herald newspaper, so on the report. Now, when you read the draft, there's a reason why I'm doing this, because you see, there are some people in Ghana, I'm suppressing the truth. And see a person a day di na Ghana for etumikoto abapa. We need to stop these kind of people, because yanyesa atro and the bedi Ghana nim atro so na kuma yekofa ekufu ade ne ba omi abaye atro enende ama Ghana boka atro enende ye boni patu e Ghana during elections atro and lead to this point. So say this, if we don't do these things, what is going to happen is what we did, the mistakes we made in 2016 and 2020, we are going to repeat the same mistakes. And we need to make sure a lot of media houses are the right voices and speaking the truth. We need to protect them. We need to let Ghanaians know they are buying an institution like ECOWAS are trying to suppress them. Suppressing the truth. That is why I've taken my time to do this. It is very important. Now, executive summary. Who read the executive summary now? You will see, say, ECOWAS draft now, Herald Bazy, omo report no also omo quote the what draft no. Almost everything that Herald reported on is in this draft. Every single thing. Now, so the part findings, some portions of the draft now. I cannot read everything, but I'm going to try and point to some of the findings. The ECOWAS of Wankasa Huye, and why at the end of the day they came to that prediction. They came to that prediction. That prediction now, Herald newspaper was saying it was a prediction. Herald was not making an emphatic statement. So if ECOWAS says they predicted, then Herald is right in saying ECOWAS predicted. And prediction is different from factual statement. So we should get these things right. And Sana, Yama San Kwasiafo will be to say MFWA, Media Foundation, the DND for West Africa, Azuri Mono. These are bad people. They want to lie. They want to destroy people. ECOWAS cannot be trusted at this point. Now, when you read the executive summary, Ghanaians will go, let me read this. Ghanaians will go to the polls on the 7th of December 2024 to elect a president and 275 members of the legislature. This will be the 9th consecutive general elections since the return of constitutional democracy in 1992. 2. In line with its mandate of consolidating democratic practice in the region, the Commission of the Economic Community of West Africa States or African States, ECOWAS, deployed a pre-election fact-finding mission to Ghana from the 21st to the 29th of July 2024. Now, the purpose of the mission was to 1. Assess the political environment in the country. 2. Assess the level of preparedness of the electoral management bodies and agencies. 3. Engage with political actors and stakeholders in the country and support efforts to build the necessary consensus for an inclusive and peaceful political environment that will be conducive to the conduct of free, fair, transparent, and credible elections. And 4. Identify gaps and areas of further support to ensure the conduct of inclusive, free, fair, transparent, peaceful, and credible elections. In Tiago was for to say the reason why it's here, draft in you. The reason why it's here, members ni be buy a Jubilee Ghana because will say a betwaba. Will say 1992 you started to abano. Imre you say beba abehwe say abana ye kotono sebio nyoma bi ebesi ho kwan ama abano sebio aya jojo ana say nyoma bi wo ho a ebesi ho kwan ama abano sebio entokwa besi ana wentwi besi enti say the reason why enti buy no say buy say ne Ghana fo mpanifo bi de dade danjube bi ano te say EC the court presidency government institution police military pese betie Ghana fo so hu say abana ye kono yewo nyoma bi a ewo se yedi hu dwuma ansa na etuma koto aba mamu aye korogyen anase nyoma bi betuma si yakwan ema kebi mamenke bia sebio yabon hu ban from 1992 no ebetumi ejina ne na so nti say that is the reason why tu sa ekuo we ba Ghana ebe busebusa ebe toto nipa no ebe tietie ye ede sebio ensem ni nyina ebe to na so. Now, so we'll read some parts of the draft now. This is what you see. So we'll call one part key findings. And here page 3 of the draft. Mr. S, Mr. P. Hey. I'll ask. Now, page 3 of the draft now. Say, based on the consultation with the stakeholders, the mission makes the following observations. ECOWAS for by the draft now. Here are the basic or social report in here. 1. The political environment in Ghana remains tense as a result of mistrust of some of the institutions that play key roles in the conduct of the elections, including the EC, the judiciary, and the security agencies, particularly the police service. This is the same quote. Herald newspaper, a quote on the story. Herald newspaper put these statements in quotes because Herald newspaper was referring to this draft. The Herald newspaper was not saying Salmon Omoka. They were quoting the draft that was circulating on social media. Into why should Suleiman Brahma go out there to put this out and say Herald has written a story, say in Tokwabesi? The Suleiman Brahma guy should be arrested. He's causing panic. He's causing a fear. He's somebody who is helping misinformation and disinformation in Ghana. 2. And all these things I'm reading to you. So I could read the Herald story now. Me read it show now. These are the same things that Herald 2. Yeah, they share the story ma or they share quotes, making you understand. You the reader understand. Say, it is what Herald newspaper basically discovered in the draft report that other news media houses have. 2. Misinformation, disinformation, and the use of insightful language that have the potential to trigger violence were flagged as a major security threat. Some leading political figures and candidates were identified as perpetrators of insightful language in this regard. The mission believes that the media, including social media platforms, constitute a serious threat to a peaceful electoral process as they serve as the channel for disinformation. This quote, it was clearly put in quotes in the Herald newspaper. Herald newspaper didn't take any word out. He didn't add anything to it. He basically put a quote. He basically told people, say, the ECOWAS for findings, it was not the opinion of Herald newspaper. It was the quote from the draft that was circulating on social media. So he quoted what was in there. So what ECOWAS should have done was simple. ECOWAS should have written a 3-line statement to say whatever Herald said was a lie. And that if Herald is saying they got their information from a draft, we have not released any drafts. ECOWAS should have been bold to tell the world that the draft that Herald is basing their story on, that draft does not belong to them. Till date, ECOWAS has not come to deny this draft. But what they made in statement they made in their rejoinder was that it is only their boss who has the draft. Meaning, the boss, if the draft has leaked, the boss leaked it. Why are they finding it difficult to accept that these are things that they found? Because at the end of the day, Ghanaians, we are the ones. So what's the big deal? ECOWAS has not denied, said this report does not belong to them. In their statement, they are trying to run away from taking responsibility, from telling Ghanaians that this is our report and that Herald is right. Why did they choose to respond to only Herald? Why is Brahma so interested and putting words like war in his captions? It is because they want to try and find ways to say, Yachi Herald. Herald is causing fear and panic. So let us go and arrest Herald newspaper. That's what they want to do. They want to shut Herald newspaper down before election 2024. They want to find a way to arrest Larry Dogbe before the elections on December 7th, because everything Larry Dogbe and Herald newspaper are putting out there are factual. So I'm not going to go on and read this. Now, when you go to point 3, regarding election security, in as much as the police service is recognized as having exerted its independence and diligence in recent by-elections, the recent appointment of a new Deputy Inspector General of Police, that's the DIGP, in charge of operations on 17 July 2024, less than 5 months into the general elections, has thus raised concerns as regarding the government's motive. This was against the backdrop of earlier rumors of plans to change the current Inspector General of Police, IGP, who is seen by the public as generally fair and firm. These are some of the findings of ECOWAS. The Herald newspaper actually quoted ECOWAS. They quoted what? The draft. A total of 38,622 voting stations have been established in all 16 regions. In all 16 regions of Ghana. Voting will start at 8 a.m. and end at 5 p.m. on 7 December 2024. By law, Electoral Regulations 2020 CI 127, the EC has up to 72 hours after the close of polls to announce results. However, it is worth noting that the EC often strives to declare the results within 24 hours to 48 hours after the polls close. But this can vary depending on the specific circumstances of the elections. So these are things that ECOWAS behunya. And they were pointing those things out. And Herald was reporting the findings of ECOWAS because he also intercepted the draft. So what wrong has Herald done for Brahma of MFWA to say Herald is reporting there will be war? What is here? Herald actually misquoted. This boy called Suleiman Brahma trying to put words in the mouth of Herald. ECOWAS is lying. ECOWAS is denying. ECOWAS is disassociating itself from its own draft. ECOWAS should come clean to let us know what was actually either their findings and what is the draft. What is the draft talking about? This is a draft from ECOWAS. So, you guys should be very vigilant. This was put together by the NPP. Brahma Suleiman, some of the people in Ghana, I'm imagine say some people who are doing diligent journalism, they want to shut them down before election 2024. And their first person they want to shut down, Herald, Larry Dogbe. They want to shut the Herald newspaper down. And use Brahma Suleiman to do the job. The same way they use Azuri to do the Sada job, no? The same way they are using Brahma and some of his colleagues to do this. Ghanaians, be vigilant. We need to stand up and speak up and protect people who are ready and willing to let us know the truth. Say, they will take us back to 2016. They will destroy us. Misinformation, tribal journalism, we are not supposed to allow that. ECOWAS, in their findings, were they able to ask, or did they ask the institutions, especially the Ghana police and the military, about the people who were killed or shot during the elections? What was the fact finding about that? Were they concerned about that? ECOWAS need to be asking more questions. They came to Ghana to fool. The real job is, did they even ask the police? Did they even ask the military? Those people who were killed during the elections, how has the government dealt with that issue? The investigations, has anybody been arrested? That is the core responsibility. The investigations they came to do, that was the first thing they were supposed to ask. And they foolishly came to Ghana to sleep with women, and they are foolishly in Ivory Coast or wherever they are, sending letters out and making it look like they are credible. ECOWAS is one of the most foolish institutions in Africa. Yandam is dead. We have talked about this. Don't forget. All right, now, Jesus. It's exactly 3:57. This is done. Okay, so we're going to go straight and take care of a year. GBC. Now, this story is another story. And it's Mr. P. Very, very packed today. I know. I had to do this, boss. It's very important. We need to protect our colleagues who are doing the right thing. That is why I spent a lot of time on this, because there are some people in Ghana doing diligent journalism and we need to protect them. The NPP government, they want to kill, they want to destroy, they want to maim, they want to shut down the vibrant media that is speaking truth. And if we don't use our platforms to protect the media, Ekufuado and his cronies, they have this agenda. And we all have to be alert. We need to be watching them. They are using some people in the media space to do this job. And we have to be very vigilant to protect those good ones, the ones who are willing and ready to speak truth, the ones who are there to make sure you get to know the truth. People have been killed, people have been maimed, people have been murdered under this regime. If we all don't come together to fight for the little media that has credibility, when they take those media mouth out, they will rule Ghana as a tyrant, as their own family property. The president is a tyrant. The vice president is a tyrant. The people leading the security agencies are tyrants. Bribery Champon, Duncan Dapa, the military heads. These people are dangerous. It is only the media that can let you know what is happening. And the good media is supposed to be protected. That is why I am doing this. All right. These two people, and the Asma Betua say all African games, you know, Amanfobia Kudiska, we have done a little bit of work. Oh, boss, I was waiting for this, and you told me in the morning that you were going to get it for me. I didn't hear from you again. And I even forgot to tell you something, and it's very important I added to what I just said about ECOWAS and how they deliberately decided to lie, and how some of the CSOs, those criminals, let me tell you, the CSOs, some are just hungry. They are in the system, and they are the ones who are destroying this country. You see, ECOWAS ba Ghana, no, they met the CSOs. The question to the CSOs now, Omumiti ECOWAS, and they say, can they come out and tell us the conversation they had with ECOWAS? What was the conversation between the CSOs and ECOWAS? What was the report? Have they demanded for the report? This ECOWAS delegation engaged Ghanaian CSOs ahead of election 2024, August 2nd, 2024. This meeting, all these people there, are they not in Ghana? Didn't they meet ECOWAS? What was discussed there? When ECOWAS came to Ghana to meet the CSOs, what was discussed? A high-level delegation from the Economic Community of West African State, ECOWAS, led by Dr. Adae Fatau Musa, the Political Affairs, Peace and Security Commissioner, has met CSOs including CDD Ghana, the Coalition of Domestic Election Observers, CODEO, the Ghana Integrity Initiative, GII, Ghana Anti-Corruption Coalition, GACC, and Media Foundation of West Africa. When this meeting happened on the 2nd of August 2024, now Brahma Suleiman was there. He was sitting there. What was the conversation about? Foolish guy. The Brahma Suleiman who is today saying this journalist did not do something right. Bobby Ansa was saying this one is number 2, this one is number 3. He should come and tell us when they met ECOWAS, what was discussed? What were the issues that they spoke on? Brahma is a criminal. Nobody should trust that guy. He's a thief. He sits in Ghana and he uses politicians to make money. He was in this meeting. And why is he coming out to tell Ghanaians to say, Larry Herald newspaper has written a story, say there will be war in Ghana? Where in the report? And him, MFWA, Brahma, the Media Foundation for West Africa, when the CSOs, including himself, met ECOWAS, what was discussed there? What were the things that they discussed? I can bring the report. He's a criminal. He's a liar. He has no credibility. Nobody should listen to that guy. The NPP wants to use him to shut down some media personnel, to lock up some media personnel. Omo person use Brahma, the Media Foundation for West Africa, to say some media houses are causing fear and panic. That is what that guy is doing. He was in the meeting. What was discussed in the meeting? He should take up to his Twitter, his Facebook, and tell us what was discussed under the meeting. Foolish man. He is causing fear and panic. That Brahma Suleiman should be arrested. He should come and tell us. They have the big platforms in Ghana. They should come and tell us what they actually discussed with ECOWAS, the mission. What was discussed there? He was there, but he's pretending as if the rejoinder. He knows nothing about it. They know everything. That is why he said, Herald says there's going to be war. He knows what he's doing. Foolish guy. Now, Momeyanko eye akronfo mienu na samso. Today I have to end early. And I'm kwasiafo na me wasting time so. Sa MFWA. I come and do a thorough job on that guy. I'm not done with him. Now it's about these two guys. And if you don't know the person I'm talking about, I am talking about the sports minister who is a thief, we already know, and also the GBC boss who at a point thought he could destroy me. But you see something, the job I do, it's not personal. I've never had personal issues with anybody. When I sit here, I am like a military officer. When I'm given a duty, when I'm given a job to do, when I wear my uniform, it is about Ghana. When I'm out of my uniform, it's a different thing. So anytime I sit here, it is never personal. It is never against a particular person or an individual and their family. It's about making sure the right thing is done. So when I sit, it is not because this guy who heads GBC has said something bad about me or tried to shut my TV down or sat in public to try and denigrate me. I am going to deal with the issues the way they are. And trust me, I have nothing against him. When I meet him today anywhere else, or a Ghana nina obi bodo no da baby mejeno, because he's my brother. He could be my father. In fact, he can't give birth to me. He's not that old because my dad is older than him. So he could be a friend. He could be a countryman. So I want people to understand when we sit here, there's nothing personal about this. Nothing. It is our job. The same way ubia eko ne jumema or ne juma. This is professional. Now, when you know the story about the All African Games and the aftermath, the AC, me catch a Ghana for has said after the All African Games, nyoma ebeba out, I sat on my platform to say it so many times. Say the things I know about All African Games, I'm spending over $230 million. Sasikana about 90% echo Jubilee House. Dan Kweku Yabua, as we speak, onyamube $20 million. Dan Kweku Yabua, yeah. The LOC, the local organizing committee, I'll come and show you their profiles. Sika obi enyaye. I'll come and show you the Ministry of Sports, the sports minister, the kind of money sa onyawo All African Games sinimu. Now we are all angry and pissed off because you better say just 3.6 million. I am saying just because there's bigger money than this. Just $3.6 million. You see, the sports minister no watam oni GBC ako sign a contract be ema contract no mo sign GBC ajiskano and omutie skano and obief skano di. This is just $3.6 million, boss. Ebi ba $40 million. And this money is now making one seven no. NPP sports minister Jubilee House omusika. So what you are seeing today is just a joke. If there's a change in government, there should be a thorough investigations into All African Games. 40 jail. 40 individuals. The sports minister can never escape jail. Never. From what I know, never. Now, let's do the do. Only 3 million and you people are screaming, hey, and TV that way there, 3.6 million. We are talking about 40 million. 40 million, 62 million, 74 million. We are talking about Sika amount for Tam. More cut 3.6 into the whole Ghana Gina. Adanya 3.6 million aira. These people said they spent $230 million. You are chasing 3.6 million. Ghana for there. They are just lying to you people. Now, so many things. AC. And the most interesting thing is, so what's your story? It is so simple. Okay? Now, you see GBC, the sports ministry, a sign contract. Now, almost sign a contract. Now, before I even go in, you can say, a year right to an event. My meaning is simple. It's very easy because I have a lot of things to talk about today. You can say, and you organize the African Cup of Nations. There are agencies around the world that you can tell them, say, all African Cup of Nations, a person hosting or Ghana. No, Ghana government, you perceive the shamunsa. More speciality, they say, more town event. No, you be showed with TV show. You be advertisement to. If we are saying you know say a show now, and I say event now, mujuma dieno no. So they have the package. So normally you sell the event, the majority of the time, the rights, the television rights to them, the advertising rights to them. It is their job. So omuji usika say to your 5 million, 10 million. So 10 million number no. I was say at the end of the day, unya sasi kind back from the job they would do. And if the work done. Enti so omo sasika na omo de omagiska no, but also sasika no etumi de mfaso brew. And mfaso na de also making sure say African Games now or organize amount no. One, ubenya advice sponsors. Ubenya big time sponsors. Ubetumenya ubetumenya engine oil, ubetumenya Shell, ubetumenya Orange, ubetumenya MTN, ubetumenya Coca-Cola, ubetumenya big, ubetumenya Apple, ubetumenya Samsung. It is their job. It is not your job. Ude wuchianika say sika media ma no making sure say ewiase obia ehudwuma dia ye be no. Ema masenya ho mfaso. So send ye ebeba TV so. Na sanko for no discard more. Majority of the time, no catch them say, I was say, unya sika edema me back because me tia you have to work, and that whatever I have invested in your work, it needs to bring me money. Enti bibi if be TV right. Into the TV right man ono nkwan what right obetuma catch you say show this African Cup of Nation TV so. Say eye TV bi Algeria no ka say opese onu so show a sa eye company na Ghana for no sign contract no omo beje omo 2 million omo Jesus can emba omo ho eba Ghana for ho. Into onya TV stations 200 every we ase nyina no mu nyina ka say omo pese omo show a omo nyina tua sika eba straight na aba ho. Into even though we tua omo 10 million so wonya 200 million a enye omo problem because wo de adwuma omo ye no ehon fa so na wudi no. It is almost the Algeria TV be say onyi. Na Algeria TV so be catch them say oh TV so be Uzbekistan almost person mu ya. Algeria for TV no at the end of the day charge o ma na sanko for na charge Algeria for no. Na Algeria for no tianko for the amount. Until you need to at the end of the day sika would be shemu no e was say we den unya ehon faso. And intina over all African games African Cup of Nations Cote d'Ivoire na ye the ma agency intina who billboard who advertisers any sponsors. It is not the work of Cote d'Ivoire, it is the work of that agency to make sure say obi a Uzbekistan etumashe game ni bi. It is all about that agency no beji sa contract no. Inti before all African games started, this is what happened. Ghana government through the Ministry of Sports contacted a company called 5 Sports. Say 5 Sports yate somebody eba event say dia oboa TV right to sponsor so advertise dia ni nyina package ni nyina mo ye pese nka emamo ebe handle all African games send ebe ya Ghana ni wiase nyina betuma hwe all African games no na eye 5 Sports for say oh omo be charge $6 million kakra bi ye mo $6 million omo the equipment beba omo be filming omo be advertisement omo be bibia omo sa the sponsors beba ni nyina the money will come to us omo the omo 6 million omo gi 2 year no ano no omo catch sports ministry and a sports minister go catch be die tu okọ catch be die to bedi you see the event na we organize no enkofo na omutumi adwuma ni ye pa no omo so beje 6 million inti yantam 6 million mo wana bidie so da bi mamuntam fa ojimi GBC wo ho ye be use GBC Ghana fo ejimi all African games no it is enya de bi kura obi anhwe bi e be ha mo inti ye ne GBC fo nko sign contract na mo ne GBC fo sign contract ye be ma GBC companies bi say omo ndi say adwuma na 5 Sports fo so omo gi sa sika na endi omo gi sa adwuma die na ye nim de e be ye. Now GBC boss no for some reason he knew say he did not have the sophisticated equipment to carry the event. In the first place, say sports ministry no approaching no. The first thing he was supposed to say, then say, if you want me to be the official broadcaster of this event, you need to understand I need to have the equipment that can do the job. I need to be able to have, because without those equipment, without those the resource, I cannot be the primary broadcaster of the event. But because the GBC boss knew to, there were some conversations behind the scenes to say, oh dear, my contract in Nkoso, all that you have to do is say front. We have people who do the job. And the GBC boss also can say, okay, move a contract number, move the contract in the bar. Use me as a smoke screen. Media mi jina ha, monfa sikani mfa mi mu na nko bebi eko. Ba sikani fa mi mu a, e wo se sikani bi fa bebi breme e ka me ho. This is what happened. Ma me dwodwo mu nkyerɛw. Enti omni GBC sign a contract. See, omo ignore 5 Sports for no. And omni GBC for sign a contract. Say GBC for nkwa and omo the right to carry the All African Games. Remember, before omni GBC sign a contract, no more 2 international companies are omupeso omanga say bia omupeso mu use. But they cannot use only the 2. They need to mix it with some domestic and local media companies bia. Omobemane looking like say this is they are being neutral. There's a combination of Ghanaian companies and foreign companies. Into sikana omodebema companies na The Ghanaian companies in 1,000. But it drew two major foreign companies, you could see the money jumped into millions. It is also the contract now. How many GBC sign here now? The Sports Ministry and Ghana Football Association. Remember, the Sports Ministry, the Sports Minister, he knew what he was doing. The GBC boss thought he knew what he was doing, but he did not know what politicians could do. The GBC boss was a politician. A little greed messed him up. He thought to say, the oya human de on pepanensa hokwa e bia kakra bi beso nanum enye sika bi ehu bia. But you see, the sports minister who is taking or was taking instructions from Bedietu, they had a plan already. So already contract now, there are some details that should point to you say they knew GBC was basically going to be a cash cow. GBC a constant is war eno a den et say a ATM machine enum na sika de be fe pie. Inti omo build GBC wo contract we mu to say money machine and I say a den ATM. Sika ni nyina be fa GBC mu pie, but GBC benya sika ni kakra bi edi. Majority of sika na ebeko ni nyina ebeko back to Bedietu and sports minister no ho. Inti hwe contract no. Time no day inti mejudwa kakra bi mu a kire. So we contract na ma mbiem. Come. We'll read this some part of the contract. This is what you see. Why is this coming first, Mr. S? This is not supposed to be the first one. All right, anyways, let me just read this one, if that's what we put there as first one. Now, this is what the contract says. So we'll read here. I want to pick the right first one. Send it to be easy for everyone. Mr. S. So we read the contract now. It says, we read the as you say, the agreement witnesses as follows. Sorry. Say GBC shall provide all services, personnel, and equipment needed for the below broadcast management, live recording and broadcast of events, international broadcast center. In terms of contract, normally GBC sign on. The only shame when they say GBC they be providing all the services. Providing. The issue is, the question is, does GBC have the equipment to do that job? Do they have the equipment to broadcast a event? Do they have the cameras? Do they have all the necessary equipment of international standards to broadcast this all African games? A solid. Do they have? So the question is, did the sports minister ask the GBC boss, and did the GBC boss also tell them their weaknesses? That answer was missing. Okay. Now, broadcast management, live recording and broadcast of event, international broadcast center, meaning GBC na the primary, the official broadcaster. Say Ebeko International, it is only GTV that can give that feed to anybody. Inti obi show event webiano will have to go through GBC, meaning GBC will have to make money back. So GBC at town content, at a third party, that money, because it needs to come back as returns, it needs to come back as profit. It is a GBC the main primary source. Every single live feed GBC pushes out there, domestic, local, Africa, Europe, Asia, GBC needs to make money back. That is how it works. The question is, after GBC pushed these things through the so-called media houses now, or more partner GBC, did GBC make a cent back? You can't tell me that GBC paid 3.6 million and made $0 back. No. Because star, 5-star for no catch the Ghana for and say, some is 6 million. You can break even or make profit. That means you can get your 3.6 million back, or you can even make 10 million back, because it depends how we promote it and how many people we get to stream and also to sponsor. When you look at it from every angle. You could see clearly, say, the monies they were putting through GBC, they didn't have any intentions of making any money back. GBC was just going to be a smoke screen for them to be able to pay the money, because the ministry did not want to pick money and pay those people directly. Because when the ministry does that, what is going to happen is they will start asking, did it go through procurement? Because say Ghana are buying, and in this case the ministry is the government. When it does business with a foreign private company, it has to go to procurement. It is a ministry that 3.6 million at the mother foreign company. Now the question will come, say, where they did go through procurement? Because they wanted to avoid that, they needed a state agency. They can basically say, we are GBC, we have been doing this for long, and maybe the laws does not really apply, so we did it. So that's why they went through GBC. Into technically say, sports minister Nachina Obeka say, I did not directly pay anybody, any foreign company. It was GBC. When you look at the law, does GBC, do they have the right to pay money to a foreign company? Because GBC is a state institution. We will come to those things. Those are the technicalities. We will come there. It is strategy in the say, because Bedia told them, because sports minister no onim say on one companies me no banner or this kind of more later Bebusan say, okay, did they go through procurement? On person question because we say on to me answer. Let's use another state agency. Na ye use your mo send e beya et say and the abeya ye busan say na adena utie sika no say mentua ma company bia metua ma GBC. You need to be deep to understand when you no typical create, loot and share. And I make sure no. So what is the MPP for create, loot and share? Create, loot and share no. And I make sure no. You understand create, loot and share. We're 3.6 million per. I'll show you something. Now, it is already some part of the contract, Mr. S. All right, Mr. S. I'm following. Did you? Let's go to the next page in the contract. Yeah, pointed some things out to you and Sanama Kuminima Chawa DB. Mr. X, I have them here, but I just wanted to know how you basically arranged them for me. Because if you can point it back where you numbered it, it's okay, I've seen it. In this order, all right. Now, you're reading a contract, another page, I'm sure there. Now, settlement of disputes. So we read this part of the contractor. This is what it says. Assignment. The Ministry of Youth and Sport shall not assign any benefit or interest hereunder to any third party without the written consent of GBC, and such consent is given shall not relieve the Ministry of Youth and Sports from any obligation under the agreement. And what the Ministry of Sports did was that they basically told GBC say they should be the smoke screen. Every single thing they will take a decision, they will just be funding. And the payment will be coming from them. They will have to make sure say adebia ekosubiano omudi omunimaje. In the application, in the assignment, they basically told GBC say munye adwuma no, say munye sika tua companies on member board now. We are there to pay you. Now who is supposed to take the fall? The person who is supposed to take the fall is the one who is leading the whole deal. And in this case, GBC, they are the ones who are basically interacting with the third party. The sports ministry did not interact with the third party. The sports ministry said, GBC, we are giving you the sole right to deal with the third party. Into whatever you discuss with the third party, we don't know. Because they are trying to build a wall. Send a backfire. The sports minister, the sports ministry can say, we did not do anything. In fact, when you ask the sports minister today, say, did you speak to any of the third parties that worked with GBC? They will say no. They were all contracted by GBC. My job was to pay the GBC guys. So the Ministry of Sports, what they did was that they moved their crime and they gave it to GBC to commit. Now, you know the funny thing? The companies now, GBC, let's ask GBC. Do they have any written document with the third parties that they dealt with? because say 5 companies or 6 companies now GBC any year Juma say almost so M1 broadcasting and making sure say event is successful. No? Did GBC have an official, or did the GBC boss meet them one-on-one to sit and sign a document with them? We need to know, because a GBC meeting or more, then there should be a contract stating clearly the terms and conditions of what GBC wants them to do. Because GBC Jiska and GBC Hiasika and Faswo, and say we are third party na GBC ni would deal. I also need GBC a contract to understand what is happening, because a contract between Ministry of Sports and GBC is definitely going to be different from a contract between GBC and a third party. We need to understand that Ministry of Sports, any GBC contract, it cannot be applied to a third party contract. Into third parties now GBC, SA or GCK or Ministry of Sports, the Ministry of Sports on Kasadi, it is a contract between GBC and the third party. And my question to the GBC boss is, did they have a meeting, a contract between Omo and the third party? Now, because the money the sports ministry was given to GBC is the taxpayers' money, and we need to know work done. What work was done with the money and what was the returns from the money? What they did is what we call create, loot, and share. Now, make sure create, loot, and share. Now, see, take your time. Share contract you see things like this. Sorry. Now, already some part of the contract, this is what it says. Obligations of the parties, fees. See, they all contracting, and this contract is between Ministry of Youth and Sports and GBC, right? Okay, Mr. S, right, thank you. Now, already obligations of the parties, fees, your mature contracting. It is agreed that GBC would provide services in the amount of $3.6 million. Nice. 1, that the Ministry of Youth and Sports is solely responsible for the payment of the services provided. GBC, any Ministry of Sport assign contract, say Ministry of Sports able to GBC 3.6 million. Now, or say GBC they would provide services in the amount of 3.6 million. The Ministry of Sports is solely responsible. In terms of Ministry of Sports, there, the Juma Yina between on GBC say, or better Sikanadama GBC say, Fire Jumano. So it means, say, after we deliver Sikanama GBC, he has nothing to do with the money. The question here is, did the Sports Ministry follow up if GBC has actually utilized the money, and that money at the end of the day, so the Sports Ministry wants to tell us their responsibility was that say GBC cash we have 4 million and not GBC. The money is taxpayers' money. The Sports Ministry does not follow up. In Tebia GBC boss, yes, he come and pena. No, I can say, Mumbrem 4 million. Yeah, they call third party. You just carry the money and give it to GBC without following up what GBC is using the money for. Because if you are the sports minister, now with the GBC, now you say a taxpayers' money, where the money is coming from and ending, you need to know. But 1, he did not care. Why didn't he care? Because he knows that the company say a third party now one can say create GBC say on your munye jumano. The companies belong to them. They don't want to take part. They don't want to do anything. They are saying GBC third party, third party no. Now when you go to point 2, that the Ministry of Youth and Sport will transfer the city equivalent of the cash component to the GBC for payment. In terms of they just do transfer. 3.6 is your office. GBC busa no magaso mu here send 4 million monje. The Sports Ministry will not even ask GBC. The third party na where are they from? Can you send a little bit of information about them? GBC. So the Sports Ministry or the Sports Minister did not question GBC. Say GBC says Sikano, say GBC to go Sports Ministry or time taxpayers money no atoma GBC. Or sine Juma no. Now go to the third. That where there arise any difference as a result of foreign exchange conversion in the transfer of the funds from Ministry of Youth and Sport to GBC, Ministry of Youth and Sport will be notified to make up the difference. Tio, or this almost send this sikano. That's a short to be bem, maybe $1 exchange, and so on. GBC be notify Ministry of Youth and Sports to say, oh, nanka must send a year $20 million CD equivalent. By a buyer, no, you calculate $20 million CD no answer and so. Into move or say any the GBC bit my from my catch trouble. Baby a GBC this kind of the almost shut down care because on any no. How many GBC assign contracts on Metam Sika at their GBC? Into they are not asking about the companies GBC is dealing with, their track record. Maybe they might find something GBC does not even know, but they say they don't do that. Their job is to carry the money and give to GBC. Now, another job also me and say, Sikana and so GBC in country on pumping more. They don't even want to follow up. They don't even want to check the people taking our money. What if GBC, their internal structures are not solid? Now GBC Tamsika Ediama a fraud boy bia. So you, the sports ministry, you don't do an oversight because you have an oversight responsibility. Even though you don't have a contract with a third party, you as the sports ministry, you have the oversight responsibility. Until you have the right to question GBC and say, who are the third parties you are working with? Unless the sports minister is a fool, unless the sports minister created the companies and gave to GBC, pay them. But we will see whether they suggested companies to GBC, because from the contract, they tell us to say their job is solely to give them money to pay the third party. Now, Mr. S, which one am I going to? Now, when you go to point 4, that the Ministry of Youth and Sport would provide funding for any incidental costs incurred in the course of the broadcast of the games. I must say, Ministry of Sports, a contract normally GB signing, during the production, now broadcast, problem be here, and it's them there. They are just sitting there for GBC to ask for money, and they will give it to them. The sports minister said, "On the office, on the go for go office." GBC bo wakeke omo pompia bromo. What will make a sports minister who has oversight responsibility to just sit back and say, "Oh dear, you're streaming. No problems now. Here's catch them." How can you be given a role as a minister? Now, let's go to the next thing in the contract. All right, Mr. S. I got it. Now, when you read this, this part of the contract, this is what you see. Production of games from all venues as in the attached Appendix A. Montages, bumpers, video promos, and other relevant creative for the event, signal distribution. It's basically GBC Jumani Ninano. The package was for GBC to promote the event, bring sponsors, do banners, montages, video, pieces of video around the world. They were supposed to advertise the show. So they had to find a way to advertise. If they are even bringing a third party, the third party needs to do that job to bring money back. We cannot pump 3.6 million and then expect nothing as a nation. No. Oko ewiase bibia omamuye event. And intina oba Ghana na shatawale ebeye eventer. Your event organizers. Event organizer ne bar or the shatter. I want to promote your show for you. Now, this your show I know is going to be big because you are always big and you know what you are doing. Now, as an event organizer, I'm going to sell your show. I'm going to sell your shirt. I'm going to bring on sponsors. I'm going to make sure you get a good venue. I'm going to make sure 10,000 people, 20,000 people, 30,000 people come to the event. I'm charging you 500,000 Ghana. If you give me that money, I will make sure you make 2 million Ghana at the end of the day. That is what event organizations do. So basically, GBC was doing that job for the Ministry of Sports. It wasn't just telecasting the show. When you read the contract, it shows GBC was doing more than just showing the show or covering the show. They had to do more. Inti Osha the Ekosuna, I had to say, GBC did just half a percentage of the Omokanina. Because GBC did not do any montages. GTV did not bring any sponsor. GBC did not bring a cent. GBC only threw the money out the window. And where did that money go? Oba or say the following services and technical features are also included in the contract. The live recording and broadcast of the opening and closing ceremonies. GBC, they have to take the cost and make it happen. A 7 to 10 hour of a daily super feed for live broadcast and playback. GBC have to make sure this works. Satellite space management. Satellite space segment and turnaround. GBC. Editorial management crew. GBC. A 1 hour daily African Games roundup program. GBC. Provide and manage the team of commentators for the live broadcast. GBC. Now, to ensure a world-class broadcast of the AG All African Games 2023, GBC shall ensure that its team of reporters and journalists are trained around the broadcast of the games. This shall be a legacy of the African Games 2023. So GBC had a lot. The question is, did GBC boss tell them he doesn't have the capacity to do that? No. Say Jumano. Companies so basically GBC was a cash cow. GBC was an ATM machine. It just vomits the money into when we can go GBC mo na GBC press it into creative companies create loot and share. No Ministry of Sport do Jubilee House creative companies and catch GBC says sign contract way we are our companies now on your munye juma into GBC no or no or your ATM machine. A yes sports ministry ba no be load this kegum o load guma and one say companies ba no ma press pa no way you know call into that is the create loot and share. Into sports minister no or first can another big ATM which is GBC. Now omo companies now omo creating bar na companies now abe hit numbers no the serial code na afisika na momo no de call into busa sports minister say sikano de ye den o se be ma bigu ATM nim into kobusa ATM no why and a physical momo. So GBC is an ATM. A physical edema a Jubilee House for indirectly or Jubilee House representing companies. Inti over down while say this is the job. And they knew, and the GBC boss knew that GBC of Ghana does not have the capacity. So they will have to do what? They will have to bring some companies on board. GBC, they need to tell us what due diligence did they do to bring those foreign companies, those two companies that took the big money. The Ghanaian companies, I don't care because I know most of them were not paid. But those two companies, what due diligence did they do? How many companies did they reach out to? This should tell you that the sports minister, Jubilee House, they created that company for GBC to work with. And a sports minister say, you have stolen our money. Or say, I have not stolen any money. We gave GBC, we signed a contract with them because they know what they were doing. They know. So I'm not the man for the director, into the GBC. No, they are so the same company that belongs to them. And until that they are quick to come on TV and say, we don't know anything about it. The sports minister has not stolen any money because it is create, loot, and share. They created the idea. They looted through the idea and they shared the money at the Jubilee House. If you're a journalist, you need to go deeper. You need to analyze. You need to listen to the people. Read the document. It will show you. It will lead you to where the money is. We are going to where the money is. We will get there soon. We are making a now, Messias, should we move from here because I want to move forward? Have we read everything? Okay, now GBC4 ebe release document to be say omo contract no almost signing third party companies no any. Now when you read GBC document now you will see say omo nya sika kese pa no the foreign companies. Into read here, I'm say, oh, GBC for release statement. No more release statement, you know. How many PGS, quality media production, the project. Now there are two companies. You tiabako euros and you tiabako dollars. Now, omono diano na esom. Almost those companies are ever seen there. Yen shut down who be omu free buy. And on PGS and quality media production. Bakoje 2,056,000 and a bakoje $1 million. Omumi enunkwaje $3 million. Eka 1 million be less than 1 million be and omuchichema Ghana companies 30,000, 50,000, 100,000. GBC nankasa na ejuma no yane dia no onya 105,000. And untina ubusa sports minister for say and our sports ministry betna asempano. The argument was that GBC got paid. But the question here is, if GBC got paid $105,000, the rest of the money, that is about $2.9 million, you know, what work was used to do? Because at the end of the day, you gave GBC some work to do, right? You contracted GBC to do some job. So you need to ask GBC, GBC were sitting there and you gave them a job, technically. So if you have given the taxpayers money to GBC to use in doing some job, the question is, did you ask GBC how much they made out of the money you gave them? Because you cannot just give GBC 3.6 million and say, I'm not going to question GBC about how they use the money. The reason why they be quick to say GBC now 105,000. They don't want to go to a Jumano Sikana Kai and a Juma Bene, yeah. Because if the sports ministry really cares about the money and is there, say Ghana for benya interest from their money, and Kobe question GBC say Sikana medema wono, show me work done and show me profits. But they are not asking about that. They are saying GBC boss is a criminal. He should come and apologize to them. Say GBC boss about Kronoa. Una utam Ghana sikama GBC boss no wa bokro no yentia ena mo ka che say ato forcing ye the boss are instructing say on sign document, even though the boss they instructed no ato forcing a commit crime jakwa na oya middleman na ono anko sign a check no yes oya middleman nko ade big C force man no or a criminal. That is what your attorney general is saying. So if the sports ministry handed over the taxpayers' money to GBC, I don't care about the contract. I want to ask the taxpayer, did they follow up to ask GBC a jumano amoye and fasobeni nyaye? To date, the 3.6 million yenimu faso nyaye, in your 1 city, in your 2 city, in your 1 city, in your 2 city, or 3.6 million so ever seen there. Obiam Musa ask our question. Why are we not interested? CBI uses Sikana. We need to be interested. And the sports minister needs to tell us. Got GBC on document 105. And the sports minister Nimbusa GBC say, Sa Sikana utia no companies in the Jumom the year and for one wing. So let me tell you what to create, loot, and share. No, this is create, loot, and share. They created the idea. They looted through the idea and they've shared the money. I can tell you on authority, the sports ministry, their cooking number receipts be recently, they will leak some receipts into the system. Said that is the transactional ekoma GBC. Modi amunchen endi a day or two. The sports minister, they will leak, they will use some sports journalists being Ghana. They will leak some receipts and tell you, say, oh, this is the receipt showing, say, sports ministry, they paid GBC money. I don't care about that. I want to know, GBC one, the third parties, did the GBC CEO or director meet the third parties in any meeting? Did GBC sign any contract with any of these third parties? 2 questions. And 3, the monies that the sports ministry gave to GBC, work done, show us work done. Did we lose money? Did we make $1? Did we make $2? We want to know. Or you want to tell us that 3.6 million went and never came back. Create, loot, and share. And I make sure you have to follow it closely before you know what they are doing. The sports minister is a criminal. Now, I'm sure I did. Do you know, say, Do you know, say, the opening ceremony? I'm in a picture and so. Now, move some questions. No. Do you know that the opening ceremony of the All African Games? Do you know that the opening ceremony of the All African Games, it cost Ghana $4.5 million? Ask the sports minister. The opening ceremonies, it cost Ghana $4.5 million. Do you know? No. They are making you talk about 3.6 million. 3.6 million. 70 million. Do you know, say, just the opening ceremony of the All African Games? Remember, the All African Games was not broadcast on any international media in the world. No media in the world broadcast it. Even DSTV, whatever they showed was recorded. DSTV did not pick All African Games live, never. So the All African Games now, no international media, no country watched it live in any country. The All African Games you watched, it was only in Ghana. Togo, Kraumuntiman Peke. Tie. Me say, the All African Games, Togo, Benin, Ivory Coast, nobody even got access to the All African Games. It wasn't broadcast in any country. It was all local. The third parties now GBC so use what work did they do? Did they sell the right to any company? Did any company or any country, any broadcasting company or any media house around the world get a feed, bought a feed from GBC through its third party partners? It's a simple question. I can tell you on authority. The All African Games was all local. It didn't go anywhere. The opening ceremony, we spent $4.5 million. Do you know that the All African Games, there was no sponsor? The All African Games now you're organizing in Ghana, no, there was no sponsor. There was only one company that gave Ghana insure 1 million worth of water. Belakwa. No company. And if the sports minister says I am lying, the local organizing committee, they should come out. There was no sponsor. The whole All African Games, there was no sponsor. Do you know that the All African Games normally in Ghana, no, there was no sponsor? Belakwa pe enemo worth 1 million Ghana. Water. MTN, Vodafone, DN, no sponsor. Now, do you know, and they have said this, may we say majority of you are quiet about it. And it's about a year, say All African Games. So let me take this off. Say All African Games, you know. We spent $15 million 15 days for feeding. Some of this is our story, no? 15 days spare on your All African Games, you know. You're spending $15 million, meaning every day, at least 18 days, you know. Every day you're spending something close to $900,000. So, calculate, you know, for 18 days, we spent a day, at least no about All African Games, you know. Every 24 hours, we spent almost close to $900,000. $900,000. Now, one of the interesting thing about this thing I'm telling you. It means to say, $900,000 a day. Titigana's kind of saying, 90 billion. Like in a day, 90 billion. All right, I'm sure idea. One side we, I want to tell you today. company na a provide a year eduane almost say for 18 days no almost spend $15 million no. That company is called the $50 million no. The company now provide eduane now $50 million. The company is called L&M Catering. It belongs to kind of Asante Bediatu's wife. I didn't just mention the name. I told you nipa yenedia. Company na provide food services for the All African Games. $50 million for 18 days. No, it belongs to Bediatu's wife. The name of the company is L&M Services. Provide eduane for 18 days. Ghana $15 million. Go and check. Makacham say, what you are seeing is just a tiny bit. They want conform $80 million, $70 million. They are working with you in Ghana. I'm gonna want TV so. Company na $15 million, 18 days so provide eduane athletes no. That company is called L&M Services. It belongs to Asante Bediatu's wife. As the sports minister. Hey, if you people make a mistake, the reason why Kufuor person be free power no. Say okoso option ho akonfo kra nkeye. Kufuor or committee suicide cry, it is better for him. Because the damage they have done to you, let me tell you for a fact. You people have no money as a nation. You are running on, you see, say Ghana a car, there are no wheels. Mumbusa omo say company ben provide eduane no. Your friend company no L&M Services. Eya Asante Bediatu yere dia. Ni yere Nigeria ni na waje airport stores ni nyina no. Ono na $50 million no. Straight up easy. You sit there and you say obi tan obi. This is dangerous. So 3.6 now mo kan wasem bebre eye dede yes sports minister dia no me ba be kire very soon 80 million 70 million. The GBC one they omo de dada mo. They created, looted and shared it. Into GBC no, I can tell you for a fact the GBC boss made a mistake. They used him. He cannot speak because he knew they were using him. He was selfish. They used the GBC boss to make that money. It is free money for them. They got it free. It would take GBC boss in the interview now. I say, if I had that money, why wouldn't we go buy OB? Let me tell you, the whole All African Games, it ran on data. It did not run on any OB system or anything. Oman Kanchamo said they spent $3 million on data. And that's how all the streams they did locally. So when we say All African Games, DSTV, it was pre-recorded. It was recorded after the show. Normally come out. The All African Games ran on data. Into almost say, streaming, basatan time, they spent $3.3 million. Us like the best 70% of that money. Today we don't need OB system. We don't need big vans to come and no. Today you just need a setup. You can stream the biggest event in this world. The All African Games was run on data, just basically internet. So I want you to ask the sports minister. Company Benaji 15 million, 18 days for feeding athletes. Or $15 million. Omusano, your friend company L&M Services. A Asante Bediatu company. All right. Now, after this short break, this is what the NPP is doing now. Ewo Misuse school for the campaign. Omana, Musi Omugu school now, Omusia Diero. MPP esiano SHS no mu campaign no school mu me say nyame boa nanka me na me Mahama na me win president. Every single headmaster ya campaign wo school me you wait. I swear to God. Yeah. Me say yeah nyame na onim na people like us yene we don't like yeah say agogo Asante Achim North. Me say me nyame nim na yene politics o. Say me can be president. Na me Mahama anka school bia ya campaign wom this term. Me J power I will sack every headmaster ya campaign wom school. I'll show the teachers BB. And Obia will understand how. Yes, school for a TFS so musia de near the Omoguka, near the Motukine, near the shelter shobo. Nana Pokwasi and paying and yem yachini yemunso, Wakoku John Kumanton to Mindano. Or no, as a school for Gukamu. Na ye TFS say, ye bomb pie ye Christopher, me, near John Mahama. Every school be a bear campaign, be a metro at work. Hey. School beer MPP be my campaign be a metro at all. Me back officer, my first 1 month, I will summon all the headmasters and fire them on national television. This is so easy. You let the people know. You call all the media. You call all these headmasters. You put the footage in. Then you show them. Then you tell them this is not part of your job. The kids, see, the mobile school now. Almost security politics, they are out. Anything I will be a friend of boarding house. Anything I crowd boarding house or exit and so we pay. There are some activities that are not supposed to be done on campus, school, senior high school campus. Into me, Mahama, we need power. The first thing I'll do, my first month, I'll gather all these videos and one day call all these headmasters to the Jubilee House. And then I'll call the national television and all the media. I'll play all these videos. Letter, you are sacked. The next day we will get a headmaster to work in that school. Mahama, at this time I'm taking notes. Every school BIA campaign I'll write it down. Call Ebuakwa State College. Na pokwa campaign wako jina say Oto Abama MP NDC a obodu abo hudua. One na po bumbu sanse hwan de ku jonkuma. And the one said, why is what bodam no nam ho? Won de nemfiaka. Mumusa na pose why ne ku donkuma. Na wako gina enkwara ni mo school say, Oto Abama NDC a wabo hudua. We Jimmy. Na anka wo ye ni papa na onam ho anka wo yire now. Ceremonial wife na ko ware no. Ka wo ko ceremony nko wendi wechi. Ah, wona po. Se nka wo nim nyansa no ye sansani a. Ye ne ya ware 10 years. De ehu abrabo mu hu bi. Anka saa de na wako ware di wechi no anka woko event no anka obetam saa de di wechi but why say born to anti osifie kwasea o ka kire nkwara se omoto Abama NDC a omabodua na wo jimifo why na sine duabo chen wo hwe se onam ho why say de wowu o se hu ya ye fia ye because e wudi a wudi why na ku jonkuma now omo de nkwara ne ko campaign wi a na afi omo eden omo jankwara no okurum ho na boys fa nkwara no na ekom de nkwara no enti omo ankasa so members a omo ye greedy a omo no so person omo independence no or independent no sorry na omo so akofa aduane fu bi no de man enti omo use nkwara no wi no mo jankwara no wo street nim oti santase oti brekum se me baba ni ti school sua de on se mo hu man anim de me ya ne se wo hwe nkora na mafonfon ye ne chama ko SS no untu me san kwaya se bo usuro kura so be pay presec se me ko he politician bi abanti obema me de calipo na woni meduane e cho box. Do you know what we eat in school? At school ye di jollof any de chicken ye di de ye di gobe papa beans ka ho kokko ka ho ye di tea papa pan o ka ho kosua boiled one ba ko ka ho ye di aduane na and the encourage say slaves and see what the NPP the omoye those times the bearers the matrons they had the money to go out and shop and bring food to the school. The power was given to the heads of the schools. School here. There was nothing like shortage of food in schools. Into Tom Sikana, the headmaster, matron, bezes, they handle. They know Thursday, you got tomatoes, Friday, you got tin tomatoes, Saturday, you got more. Because every day they go to the storeroom, they take note, they take stock, they know the air shorty. Kwasia for we was free SHS. Obi kwatame duane free baby fambra school ho. Na sa nipa na ode mo ba no onim de shorty. We are foolish people. And anytime Mahama say, this free SHS school feeding, we need to hand it over to the schools. I say you're dying. At the papa buy and pay. This is simple and common sense. Here and there, mama. A crow moya sankwasi adi wom, ahima wom, ahimfu wom, asofo wom, omu nyina ehwe. Amanfo mba, intanadwi akora we na naka body panyan no owu a. One responsibility, why you blame no? I'm just asking. Nema ameti to be kwayo. Ye for more for Nana and the entire for party Mahama Yakromfo. Or to one your friends say queer car ball ban was seshi. O car ball ban on a vrongo. Say hono ko school. Adaya na po ba and your mom pie and the car bonus up punching. Kwasia. Why say nine mugu Ghana? Ye tumufwa. Jimmy inti mon pesa mubeti. Mumani be wuse mwa. This doesn't make any sense. Why no Niminyansa or Yashabaka say Napodi ba Omyambe the president? These are two foolish old men, foolish men. Adia mama mombanye, they will make people's kids do it. Adia Napo kwasi ampenyi we man banye, Obama will buy ye. That when they trap pictures a chain, Samira or Ghana. Well, Samira and Nemba picture that. Samira and Nemba, with all due respect, I'm autistic. I can't wish a damn. Have you seen Samira and then mother? Samira, when a picture change Samira and about Samira. Mahamudu Baumia, with all due respect, or a little bit autistic. But someone say Samira didn't birthday crowd almost on an picture picture. Well, but Samira and Baumia mother. They have locked them in a room because Omi and Suba. Now, when a fans a chance Samira. When a photos a chance Samira. When a person or Chester or BB chance Samira. But there's one thing about Umiana and Ireno, they have done well. They have prevented anyone from seeing their kids. Because in Kwarana Omo, the kids are suffering from Down syndrome. With all due respect to people who are suffering from Down syndrome, they are shy to even let people know. What was Samira and Mawe? What was Samira mother? Who pictures change Samira? Yeah, Crampono, Yane, Irene, and my picture or Christmas picture. John Mahama and Irene and my pictures, Christmas picture. Ekufuanem, well, Samira ne, Baumiana and my pictures, Christmas picture, na Salah picture. No, they have locked them. They have locked them under key. They don't get out of a room. And these people, they are momo omun to me, omomban to me, you know, and omu yusumu madeye. Mumusa Samira sen and Mawe. Oma wunsioma ena ma lock omo na ye di sala ye di Ramadan ye bibia ye hu Samira ne ba omiamba kura di president Independence Square ye hu se ne ba mpoti akonwa so ehwe omo papa omo gudam no mo hwe papa o TV so me see picture of my share a old picture. Currently, they can now let me say something. Autism. It does not show when you give birth to a child. Akorebi will be the engineer the 7 years now autism one. Yeah. Autism it does not show there are some things that if you don't pay attention and then the autism when you're faster. And I don't have any problem with people with autism. No. There are some people who have autism and they have contributed so much to Ghana and to America. And I know people who are autistic. PhD or Ghana to me. It's a fact. There are people with autism in America. your PhD ni ote Ghana on to me yet they are able to reason than a PhD holder. It is not an old picture somebody is showing of. Me say currently, but Samira Bawumia ni kunu to me found in Banchiramo. Samira Bawumia any Bawumia, omo person will be the president. You don't know their kids. My mention idea. I am going to say, "Share picture we." These are old pictures they shared. Yeah. We began say Kevin the time and a Baumia here. You see this kid? You see the kid in white? You see the kid in white? It's autistic. And before I started my show, my catcher said, I don't have a problem with autistic people. But at the moment, they want your kid to do it. You see? White, Joshua White, no see a national. It's autistic. They have locked their kids and they have detected autism in the younger one now. It hurts that we have to come all the way here to let people know what is happening. But see what these people are doing to people's kids in the senior high schools. And the car to my bobi ba no woo. But this guy, he has locked his autistic children in his room, protecting them, giving them everything. Ketekiti no share ready no. Onu so nyine why autistic. Bawumia is on the line of autism. Mojin say agro ni edi. Also to enya kwawo. It is not say odi agro, that is him. And autism, some of the autistic people, you have to pay attention before you see it. Chema wuntimi or autism kakra. Bawumia has a little bit of Down syndrome. A line so. Anytime I go focus say, Bawumia de okasa na osre. It is not so. It is onimu poso yes sir. And then you go to senior high schools. You go and pick somebody's child and say, walk on the street. Naka ko bone bane. Ka ko bo sa nipa ne ba. Ka ko bo nipa ne ba na wo senior high school na. Odi akwara ne beba. These are things we have known for a long time. We don't talk about it because it is not something we have to talk about. But when you put people's kids' life on the line and you don't care about people's children and you care about only yours, then we need to let people know the kind of person you are. All right, let's move forward. And yes, sir. And yes, sir, in some mechanic, let me move. I don't want to show you things. Thank you, Mr. S. Now, look at this. UK Embassy. And then my main mama and yes simple. Yes, say. Yeah. Bro, former kind of TV news in Munchaso. Nina say Trafigura company bia MPP for bar bemu because of greed. Omni Ghana work contract MPP for ending Mraswa Omucha contract no. Sa company no a winning case. Ghana embassy wo UK and a company ne dia. Until say Ghana betua 134 million so 101 million ni nyina no. And the menoka say Ghana japade wo UK na eye de papa wusu ankoma timu no eye company bi dia eno ano no. And the receivership, the applicant, the creditor, the business associate, the commercial part, the obwadi nyina say. Asema okay. It is simple. It is wako bobesia. Ewo wo ne ba for. Yan kan so wako bank akobo besia. Besia no wentua. Ena bank no akọ court. Ena court say wo dan bank mfa ne nsanto so na onfanya de enye de obeye. Until so betua bank ne ka no. That property belongs to the bank. That is all. It is not about receivership. It is not about clients. It is not about state commercialization. It is not about private diplomatic. It is about company as we speak today. The building he's sitting in, Regina building, Second building, Comfort building. The issue is o the bank ne ka and a bank a court there den sato dan so. That moment a court ama bank ko kwan say onfa ne santo dan so no, it ceases to be your own. In your head it belongs to you, but the only way it can belong to you officially is for you to offset, and I say for you to pay the debt. As you speak, you have not paid. In the Regina House, oh Lord, it is not for us. Under Ekufuado in the Republic of Ghana history mu yenya abanya yama company etumi agi embassy free and nsem senka company ni free and nsem one day cry and still it is one bad thing that has happened to Ghana. And the menoti hey company be ya the company come and agi embassy free and nsem papa uswan kuma amwane to ebe kai receivership and the client and the diplomatic. What is this nonsense? Why are we even keeping these people? How foolish can we be? Even see that John Mahama almost say nobody was able to take our properties. And yet Ghana a private company, because of greed and foolishness, obi ba bemwa and was by force. You create impression be say obi a diska into John Mahama mo anya contract ni ye no mafa illegal ways so akotwem and then kofoya ba broni krom. Omotuma ba US Abed command the Ghana for say yemfa ye UK property momo bank court be no Ghana bit direct an American to do that. You catch them say US passport. Yes to pay Belgium and now unkobi memeko because me here visa. You catch them want it. Can any court in Ghana instruct the American government to pay or to can any court in Ghana instruct the Ghana government, the American government to do this? But the American government, the court in America, it can instruct a whole government to make sure that company now then why are they saying they won't pay? My catcher must say US passport. Oti Ghana bompaye, oh ya fasting, oh koba. You can say yes we pay Belgium, we be a table so to ho edgy dinya. Answer na wunya visa na ye ne ko. Ya catcher. A corona with Timuno, Omomuno. They don't even appreciate your passport, your birth certificate, because they don't care. The Chief Justice, she does not even know whether she's Ghanaian or not. We are refugees. When you vote for a criminal, this is what you get. The people are sucking you dry. Eh? You have no idea. Now, let's move forward. Government will stop importing from China and other countries with buy Ghana first policy. Recycling. But Umia say, onu be the president Ghana, ya import BB and free China. Abo watarata. Ghana beyond aid negotiation. And young go for no buy Ghana beyond aid, Ghana beyond aid. You see idea, we are going to grow what we eat. We are not going to borrow. We are not going to import anything. Ghana before beyond 8 years ebedru almost could change the now catch say almost friend buy Ghana first. We Jimmy. Sometimes I would just say Tamo Jimmy. Now would you say dear my Jimmy ni energy because who say one all within common with Jimmy a man in J. MPP for you almost a more Ghana for the door na tits more come for more Jimmy. Now get na put me College of Education. College. You say a college. Now college ni oti wodo but apo catch and say oto Abama NDC a wabo hudua. Na po onso we Jimmy. But in his head no enkwara na omutie di na Jimmy. You see what I mean? That is how a party omwe Jimmy no me say abo watarata. Wo. So Ghana buy Ghana first. And a Ghana beyond aid na mo de buy na Ekufuado na mo no mabodam. They are going to recycle their words. Asan will be bien who be so tangani nyina ende. Se sia de fuseni ni ate. Enti fuseni se eye abeno, eye tenteno onso abiem. Enti sia ne be den ye de nyoma kufie. Se sia ne abiba se store ne nim on de nim biem. Se sia hwan na ebe nwen ye store amaye. Se sia atinga se fufuo no onwo. Se sia hwan na ebe wo fufuo na amaye ma customer saba. Se sia no eye Aminata se sia no why na adwene say enya de obekɔ nsuo de bia besi ntade nti hwan na eba bekɔ nsuo si atade no hesia de kwase ni ate. Ghana beyond aid, the difference from buy Ghana first and the foolish people. These are despicable, dirty people. They don't respect the intelligence of Ghanaians. That is my problem with these filthy people. They are dirty people. You brought Ghana beyond aid. You brought planting for food and jobs. You brought Eddie and Napco. Everything there. We have not received a dime from these things. Because every better TV show, Baumia has proposed 40 policies. Abua 40 policies, no, and the dollar the same. Now policies na yeah recommend ya. And the same because to reach your policy. How effective? How has it helped? How has it changed the economy of this country? You can propose 200,000 policies. It will be just policies. It will be opinions. Policies are things or are ideas that are backed by law that can change lives, change country, economic wise, social wise. Policy needs to have an effect, social political effect on its citizens. Policy may not have a better effect on Ghanaians and on the economy. That is what we are talking about. It is not about proposing a policy. An idea that is backed by law and a friend policy. And that is not just that. It does not end there. It needs to go further and do what? Have a positive impact into $1 or tenner. That policy should change it and bring it back to 8. And then a friend said it is having a positive the repercussion. The rippling effect of that policy. Sa adwene na the embratari chino asisan yoma ye. Because I'm paying you say or the policy bebraba. How has it changed anybody? The policies are making things difficult for everyone. The ideas now being backed by law, no, they are making lives difficult. So it means they are not policies. They are foolish political slogans. You don't just sit there and say policy. And as a question, to make a BB or say a policy. Chada kwasi am paying you on a cromfo way or no cross or policy. Jimmy Chada way. A way. No fin and Namgana kwasi atowe cromfo way. Chada we. Missy Mamudi Church, my friend say, or the Macasa phone so that they don't care. A thief like Cheddar, just a criminal boy in Namgana and a Jimmy for Dinachi. Now, Yanni, Jimmy, ya. I don't know, between a Cheddar, bit too much Ghana. Or the wine on and better Ghana. Cheddar a Jewy. A Crobian called the jail, where jailing the dada 40 years. He will never see sun. Cheddar. Banchi we ni Namgana Jimmy we na mo so now mo hwe Baumia ka asem ya kire nkrimufo and the ebusa Baumia question say adentina or spend the time bebree e wa sorry them chain den masalachi adentina or friend who say or person we the first Muslim president of Ghana adentina he does not spend time in the mosque. Is he shy or ferisa on nkrimufo besumana the Baumia kan and say or see I am comfortable in the church because Jesus Christ is at its center. Yebusa about Umia say, Adentina, he said, Nkrimofo no complain. He said, also, person the first Muslim president, but you spend 99% of your time in the them. At the old ferry, so be so in Kribunian, I'll say, Odabi, but the ono didn't say, no Yesu ne woho, and a Yesu Sebio Onina Otia Solima Oma Sorene Kosu. Tibaumia indirectly no or catching Nkrimofo say, in Krimosumono. Onwu se sebio eye Muhammad anas Allah ne honhom ewo ho nti enye nkremosom no na obe spending the time na obu nkremofo ne be. I am comfortable or say or you comfortable wa sorry them. If you say how the ogidi say Yesu wo ho. Now what about the mosque? Because nipa na obusa the question ka say we nkremoni. Enkofo say wo pese obey the first nkremoni president. Na enso ye ntan ho nkremosum mu. Untan kwa sore onya djumba umpesa wode humpo beka nkribufo se ampa adekudie ntia de bia no owurawura sore dem ne se oye more comfortable owura sore dem a ne ho ba ne ho so ohun se Yesu honhom wo ho indirectly no yeso pa asema ka kire wase a e na ka kire wo yire indirectly no ba omi ka kire nkribufo se ono masalachi no owura ho a ohun bibia kire se Allah honhom kura wo ho enti ema ne ho entene no ne ho owura masalachi a na ne ho ha no na ne ho etete no enu ntina or spending more time e wa sorry them munafiki tumbanzani munafiki utumbanzani wawani and the wujina wa ka kire nkremofo say nkremosum no masalachi de ɛyɛ deɛ honhom onyankopɔn honhom ni wo na wo yɛ comfortable ɛwɔ hefa ɛwɔ asɔre dem tumi a wo penti ogin sɛ nkremufoɔ sɛbio ɔmo agimi na ogin sɛ kristofoɔ so agimi because nipa bia ka to the trim say dada kristofoɔ no na nkremufoɔ no deɛ ɔmo agimi ɔmo beto ama wo. This is somebody or a pathological liar. We are not supposed to spend time on Baumia. In the interview now, I say, Your Excellency, I want to know. Question on Mubusan no. I'm saying we want to know. I didn't now spend the time to do no ever. I saw them. De bia na wona na masore dem we ko donate sika owusu bempa ne we wura ha ne we wura Pentecost ne we wura adentina de bia wugina sore dem nanso wo se na wo ye inkremoni a wo be the first Muslim president inti inkremofo nhwe no motoma o se ono de owura sore dem a o feel comfortable na ohun say Yesu honhom wa sore, meaning he is sending a message, a coded message to the chief imam or ka kire inkremofo say adikudientia on time bebe juma every Friday on inkremofo ensom de bia adikudientia on person be wura masalachi dodo se owura ho a onya comfortable na onjindi se Allah eye Muhammad peace be unto him honhom eni masalachi eni inkremosum mu we ni asema ba omia munafiki mutum banzani e ka kire Ghana for ende na wo ye inkremoni a odo mo mabɔ fom de bia te se madam for stick. We inkrimonia sebio we salah every day. It is a madam for mystique. We inkrimonia sebio we Ramadan. Inkrimonia the 5 pillars of Islam. You believe in Inkrimonia. You believe that Muhammad, the messenger of Allah. Muhammad, peace be unto him. Allah the merciful, the greatest. Allah the omnipotent. So we inkrimonia oje osumudia osa ohoro nase. Ansana ode wo mama esifom asumo nyankopon a. Eye den na wonante ko eye the ballot paper to vote for this Zanla. This munafiki, this mutum banza. Why should you do that? Then it means say wangasa osumna osumno won tiasie. It is better Allah strike you and mix your body with the body of pigs. So yen kremoni a wojin kremosumdi na se okoja lai mu so oto abama baomia after okas asemu ya. So yen kremoni na oda ho koto abama baomia or say Allah strike wo kun totwene na wo body na ye besie no oyi na ode frank krem ode frade impreko nam na wo totwene. Una fiki utum banza wawani bawamia we nye nipa ye tena Ghana ka se odi no kure. Why should we allow this to happen? All because of power. Now, Mahamudu Baumia, or say, Baumia say, I will increase daily feeding alawa. Baumia say, I will increase daily feeding or alawa for prisoners from 1 Ghana 80 pesos to 6 Ghana cedis. You see, or see, Okutia Eduani alawa I'm a prison for the president. Now I want to show you something though. School feeding in a day. Sika said they feeding Kwara Mo school. Mr. S, pull it out for me. In a day, Ghana for Kwara Mo school feeding. Every child, how much do we spend on every child? I have no problems with people in our prisons. Ebimoha, no fault of theirs, Enomakopie prison. And I feel bad for them. The way our court system works. About 60% of the people who have been jailed don't deserve to be in jail. It's a fact. But I want to ask, Ghana school feeding in Kwarana, yes, yebema hot chocolate, ebesin de yema ubia hot chocolate, yebema ubia cocoa drink, ebesin de in Kwarana yesebe feeding one. How in a day, Akorabia a feeding or Ghana bia or school feeding, how much do we spend on the kids? 97 pesos. Every day, Ghana and Kwara school, Akorabia and we're feeding 1 Ghana. They are fed 97 pesos. But Omiase currently, you feed the prisoners 1 cedi 80 pesos. Now, obeye the president, obe move through 1 cedi 80 pesos. Prisoner be able feed the prisoner be 6 Ghana. Obe mo alawa. Now, Shadie, You see, this is Shatawale, right? Mamencho, these two people. One in Nyansa. This is Bawumia. Bawumia say Obama prisoners feeding Alawa 6. Shatawale say, also, I will build prisons for short-term sentences if elected president. Shatawale say, so on the Obaya president, Obeshade she is the prisoner ma omwa yes sentence you short term. They are not supposed to be in the maximum prison. Shatawale argued that it's no. So, like many obit said Shatawale, we are businessmen. We can build a correctional facilities across the nation. Efanipa 20,000. Beautiful facility. Now, Obia Ebe Jelu under 5 months, 6 months, we are not supposed to take you to Nsawum. Those people are supposed to take to those facilities. Now, it's a private facility. You are there as a prisoner, but over 6 months, you be given some work to do, social services. So you are not mixed with the population that is filled with hardened criminals and all that. This is how you can basically move the pressure off the Nsawum prisons, because when you go to places like UK, America, your private prisons are basically people who have been sentenced in for shorter stays, and I say durations, say maybe see prison, say Shatawale see prison. Now see prison a funny pa 10,000. Now you see where be jelu or Ghana biano around the southern sector under 6 months biano. That's where you have to bring you. Do you know how Nsawum is going to change? It means there wouldn't be pressure on Nsawum. It means the facility will be put in good use. It means we can concentrate and make the facility a place, because and even though people have been jailed, they still have their rights. If we want to ease the pressure on Nsawuma, these are some of the policies. In the Shatawale policy way are far better than Bawumia policy. Because when it takes cities and you feed a prisoner, and the prisoner is not living well, that prisoner will die. Prison, they want to live better. They want to get a good mattress to sleep on. They want to feel like humans. They want to also belong. They just want their dignity. They don't want to be sleeping like chicken, like cows. They want to also feel, say, even though I'm a prisoner, which the Constitution says, say, I have a right, I should be given my decency. They don't even have that. You are thinking of feeding them. Now, when you feed them and later they come and sleep in a dirty environment and contract diseases and die the next day, what have you done? You, Shatawale say, short term. Almost short term, 6 months, 7 months. We should have a special prison for them. Those people can go through counseling. So if it's a private entity, they see Sadia now. All the private entity does is every prisoner, they charge the government and they keep them there. They give them a counseling. 6 months, there isn't more pressure on the day on Nsawum any area, the bigger facilities. Shatawale is smarter than Bawumia. Shatawale, unimnyansa chen Bawumia 1,000 times. 1,000 times. What's about Bawumia to me change Ghana? Now Shatawale ma one policy. Mahmoud Bawumia cannot even. I'm showing you what Bawumia wants to do. So when president, Shatawale is saying one thing and it's the same thing, and see what Shatawale is advice or no idea there. Anytime catch say and you'll be suit in the answer. Shatta is more intelligent than Bawumia. Realistically, Shatawale ni mnyansa chen Bawumia 100%. And unless you don't want to be realistic, unless you hate me, as some American, you could see Bawumia is talking trash, because and the Aquarabia or Garabia or school be feeding under $1 city, 97 pesos. You feed every prisoner 1 city, 80 pesos. What will make you say you want to move it to 6 cities? We are not saying we don't have to feed our prisoners, but have you checked their living condition? It is all because of overcrowding. So why don't you have alternative way of accommodating them? When you accommodate them well, because there are some prisoners who are family members, they are living good, they eat good, they just need a good place to sleep. They just need their decency. They just need. Majority of people who die in prison, they don't die in prison because it is because of the living conditions. It's deplorable. It is bad. It is deplorable. It is bad. If you compare these, no, because you say, Jack, I'm telling you, you need to have that common sense in there. You need to think deep. You need to be proactive. You need to think further. Tell me, my prisoners, from 1 city 80 to 6 cities in Tiantumame. Catch the prisoners that you make their living conditions better. How do you make it better? Now you say your businessman bear 4. Now me minister tawala was scar. Me you $20 million. Me see a prison facility. I find it 10,000. Everywhere in Ghana, your jail will be under 1 year per come there. I have a contract with the government. Every prisoner I charge. Ube say in Sawum, it can be put together in a way where people will come out of Insawum as renewed people. Yet Ghana kwasiasem nkwa. Obi a hye kwasiasi do kaka kwasiasem. Enya gimpa na obekwa kwotena ho na unkwa classes wo sorry a na wo yira your homework am on e ma wo chese odum nyanso and they say a sheet of paper. Kwa me fifa wanko SS so ko gimpa. And so to me, on a gimpa medical school student says yes, let's use this. Let's stop pleasing the public and acting as if we are smart. We are not. For a lecturer who cannot pay his rent to stand before you and read an article for you to read does not make you intelligent. It's about using that application here. Apply it. Be proactive and be reasonable. Mama mayanko yakoa asemeba. Let's move forward. Shatawala is smarter than Baumia. Now, Egigim. This is something we need to talk about. Don't you know we have private prisons in the USA? People think, say, you don't know? You have no idea. Now, this is a very important story that we need to talk about. I'm going to say Kevin Pekutia. In Pekutia, I mean, boss, we'll take care of that later. Ochina yabe no so. Emona sem yabe no ochina. Now this story is very interesting. I think say or say kan wasem. And the story is that Peace Council for Papa we yes a friend no opuni frimpong. Now we need to understand something. So who ye bibi na se unya bibi amfrimu a ujai. Now, expedite prosecution of persons responsible for election 2020 deaths. Opuni frimpong. Every time on from opposition, and this is something they have done all this while. Also, we mono and the Ghana are sorry penny for no. The omo yene say your mom positioner almost so omo mampam. Omo free position you are and omo nyansa kasa. We mutama na your mom positions they were not speaking. Omo wie nom kotena nchen a and omo ka no kore. And the Ghana, the is a Peace FM Emma NDC pressure say, Omombe sign a document, Kratabi say that Omombra no mombe sign it, Nanchire say, Abana ye kotono, Ubia Hunka. The Peace FM Peace Council Eka Nina say, Oma tro no maybe a good Kratabi so. Na sa Kratano, NDC former chairman Entam Pen na on sign. Nanchire se abana ye kotono ye bo obi tua still a peaceful. Nanchire se abana ye kotono ye ku obi ba chese basan krata nti e peaceful. The peace the council e kan nyina ni o nti ende no oba Ghana Peace Council ne nam ade na NDC for informon san hye krata ase. Na make say so wote ana wo ye adwuma bi ene adwuma ade bia meka mfato wom e jantra. So we jantre ni na obo jantra na jantra na oya na wunya mfaso asa ujai. So we jantra we kurase na yetua 2 cities 4 cities ututu etua ho wo nentutu etua ho usisi wo na so abayo bi a wonim no ohwa ne pa aise so holy ni nenti I dey say de twitwi wo ma ho ohwa ne tikọ ohwa oba nim aise mampam otrankran ono ko onya be ma bia 300 Ghana wo so hu sisi wo so e wo kwabre wenya akọ anima 70 Ghana se wo be gya konkran it is a sign a document 2020 as a political party now sign a document ni wie no ya bo nipa tuo omo a sebio e wo se obo mo ho ban omo a sebio e wo se o make sure say omo to aba no peacefully akotene fie omo nkuta tuo nkuta jan ya bo nipa nwotwe tuo a die na e wo se sama wo kokotena se saa die na wo sign na ama nipa 8 ya bo mu tuo no die na be mo asa akotena se me sa akọ sign sa document ni biom. It means say so wo akotena se wo sign sa document ni biom a nipa na ye bo mu tuo nipa nwotwe na eku omo no you were not satisfied enough, they need to kill more. It is basically you reaffirming, you telling nipa na medress na muku Ghana for 18 and say nipa na muku ya no wasn't enough because nipa na yeku omo no we have still not solved that issue. Nipa na ye bo mu to 2020 no ebe sinde the same peace council entumi enka say yenchi nipa ba akumpontum. Inti why should the NDC get up again and say I even though you couldn't pound watch me per se me sa sign now sign here the probability say you best say couldn't pound watch and na edum siano it is high because I can't na ko sign here na enwa na edu couldn't pound watch adentina wo ko sign bim. Now the issue is in Sama Esiwo Ghana, the NDC, they have made it clear. The Peace Council, the honest truth is, it is one of the most useless institutions in the history of the Republic of Ghana. They are a bunch of liars. They are a bunch of hypocrites. They are there to operate to suppress their democracy. The Peace Council, Juma Mayina, for the past 8 years is to help Ekufuado destroy Ghanaians. That's all. What is the core responsibility of the Peace Council?